Good evening and a very warm welcome to Oxford Stadium, a stone's throw from the historic city centre and the university, of course. Tonight, the Spires host the Stars, both teams looking for a win to bolster the tail end of their 2025 season. As always, we're in the company of Calvin Tatum and Scott Nichols. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening.
It's that point of the season, Calv. Playoffs fast approaching, Ipswich looking good at the top. Pressure on the other managers, perhaps?
Yes, absolutely, because it's the business end of the season and the playoffs, as I say, just around the corner. And we've seen some terrific battling between the War of the Roses. So we're looking at Allerton, but Mark Lemon is a team manager rather that is under pressure. His team haven't been good on the road, and he's looking for more. And Simon Stead have made some changes to the team, and all of a sudden they've got the better of Leicester, and that is a huge boost of confidence for the Tigers. And this man, of course, Stuart Dixon with the Leicester Lions, finalist in 2024, looking to go one better. And I tell you what, Leicester are rock solid on the road, so they're going to have something to say in the Championship for sure.
And Scotty, if you were Ipswich, who would you perhaps want to face?
Well, I think Bellevue, personally. I think just echoing what Kelvin just said about Leicester, they kind of the form team, especially on the road. I think Bellevue have shown a bit of vulnerability away, especially at Ipswich. I think Mark Lemon, he's put it out there. He's not happy with their performance on the road. So I think if I was Ipswich, they would be the team I'd quietly, confidently go for.
OK, so we've had Speedway today, earlier, midday at the National Speedway Stadium. It's Bellevue versus Sheffield. Bellevue in the sunshine, plenty of fans out. They are dominant at home, and it was another dominant display, especially from their maximum man, Brady Kurtz, Kelv.
Absolutely, you know, he's been in fine form right from the get-go this season. His Grand Prix form is just out of this world. And here at the midday start, which is not easy. You can see with a sunny day, the track conditions are not what they normally encounter, but he came through in flying colours. Another maximum at the National Speedway Stadium, going great guns.
That's good as well when you think about the Grand Prix at the weekend.
Absolutely, what a date, what a date.
Well, let's have a look at the standings then, because we have got our 4 Premiership teams that are confirmed in the playoffs. It's well and truly decided, but we don't know particularly what order they're going to finish in. It looks good though for Ipswich, which is, as I mentioned, they're looking pretty at the top on 43 points. Second, Sheffield Tigers currently on 38. Bellevue in third with 37, and Leicester Lions in fourth with 34. It's tight, Kel.
It is, and there's going to be some changes to that top 4. With Ipswich and Sheffield going head-to-head in the next couple of weeks. That will have a bearing on who finishes tops, but there's no doubt that, and here are the dates coming up in the near future. That date, Sheffield v Ipswich, I think is quite pivotal. I've got Kings Lynn and Sheffield. Sheffield will be looking to try and get something out of that, but Ipswich at home against Sheffield, I think those 2 meetings could well see who decides who finishes tops. And Leicester, as I say, against Oxford here later on. I get the feeling Leicester they will have a major part to play. I've liked the way they've gone about their business. Max Frick, particularly leading the team, has been superb.
Yeah, he's been absolutely extraordinary in the Premiership, and they've come good at the right time, almost like last year as well.
Yeah, you know, they've hit fine form, and momentum means a lot at this time of year.
OK, let's look at the 2 teams that are facing each other tonight. Obviously, it's about pride for them, both wanting to finish their campaign on a high, Calv. Let's start with the visitors then. Yeah,
both teams haven't had great seasons, but Jan Kvech leads the way for the Stars, Grand Prix rider. Big weekend ahead for him. Niels-Kristian Iversen, you know, veteran, 43 years of age, but a former Grand Prix winner. Chris Harris won a World Long Track round yesterday in Schiesel in Germany. Richard Lawson, rock solid in the middle part of the team. Captain Nicolai, Klindt, Ben Cook and Luke Harrison down at reserve for the Stars tonight. My man to watch is Ben Cook. Cook has missed the last part of the season. He had a nasty wrist injury at the beginning of the season, but he's quality. And I think down at reserve, he could have a big part to play tonight.
It's a quality side, isn't it, when you look at it on paper?
To be honest, they've underperformed because I expected them to be pushing for the top 4.
Underperformed, the Spires have. Yeah,
they just haven't really got going this season, which is a terrible shame. But there's still a good atmosphere here, and you sense that there's a bit of a holiday vibe about it. But led by Charles Wright, who puts himself about. I saw some pictures of him this week. Not sure he'll be that chuffed to see them. But Mitch McDiarmid at number 2, young Australian rider coming along nicely. Rohan Tungate in the middle part of the team. Victor Palovaara, the Swedish rider. Maciej, Janowski, the captain. Peter Kildemand, vastly experienced rider at number 6, and Killeen getting along. He's a bit of a rookie down at number 7. But Victor Palovaara, he's had a smashing season for the Edinburgh Monarchs.
Yeah.
Coming in to replace Craig Cook. He's quite experienced. He's been around a while. I'd like to think he'd want to make a statement here later on in the season.
And they've only got a couple of home meetings left, so they just want to make a statement for the fans here tonight as well.
Well, try and finish on a high, winning at home, and, you know, as I say, just put some of the bad memories behind them going into the autumn.
Kel, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's join Scotty then for that all-important coin toss.
Thank you, Abby. Indeed, it is 012.1.28 time, if not known as the coin toss. I'm going to speak to 2 captains. Come to Oxford captain first, Maciej Janowski. Maciej, lovely weather, track looks good. How are the boys feeling?
I think we all ready. Not much left, so we want to enjoy in the last two meetings. Like you said, track looks perfect, so I hope the fans going to get good speedway tonight.
Let's hope so, and best of luck to you boys. Nicolai, Killeen have had a pretty solid season, but sadly not quite enough to make the playoffs. So would I be right in saying tonight it's all about kind of showing people what you are capable of and that you should have really had a spot in the playoffs?
I think so. Our goal a couple of meetings ago was to finish the season unbeaten. That isn't going to happen because we lost to Ipswich the other day, but we still got 3 meetings left, 2 of them at home, and looking forward to finish the season off strong.
Okay, well, I'm going to do the toss. I'm actually not going to. I'm going to hand the honour to Maciej. If you could flip Maciej and you call while it's in the air, Nicolai.
Tails.
Tails. Oh, look at that. Professional. And it is heads. So, Maciej, you've won the coin toss. What's it going to be?
We go with heat 15.
Okay, well, in that case, Nicolai, what's it going to be in heat 1?
I was told I should go for 1 and 3.
Okay, 1 and 3 it is. So, the Killeen Stars, 1 and 3, heat 1. Back to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. Well, there's a good crowd that have come out tonight to Sandy Lane, bank holiday Monday. Oxford wanting to finish on a high, like Maciej Janowski said. Let's just hope there's a good speedway meeting for all the fans tonight. We do have another meeting taking place. It's at Palovaara Stadium, and our thoughts are with all the fans there. It's going to be an emotional evening, I'm sure. It is Birmingham against Leicester Lions, and it is their last home meeting at Palovaara for this long-standing club. Here's Dave Rowe with the team news.
Well, Palovaara Stadium reopened the Speedway in 2007. It's been a roller coaster since then, with the Premier spending time in all 3 leagues. There have been 5 different promoting groups and 7 different managers. They finished top of the old Elite League back in 2013, and after a mid-season closure the following year, they returned to win the National League in the next 2 seasons with the late Graham Drury in charge. It's been tough going back at senior level, but the reason for closure is impending stadium redevelopment. Greyhounds ended at the weekend and are moving to Dunstall Park Racecourse, but very sadly, Speedway has nowhere to go. On track, Birmingham have lost their last 9 matches. Things haven't worked out for them team-wise. Tonight they have Jonas Jeppersen back Milners, but Ben Barker, a crowd favourite from his first spell with the club, is out injured. Simon Lambert in for him, alongside Sam Hagan, who started the season with Leicester. The Lions are safely in the playoffs and chasing a top 2 finish. Last week they won a cracker at home to Ipswich, but they were beaten at Sheffield, a full-strength team led by Max Frick, and with Luke Becker now back in racing, it's packed with riders who go well here. The Lions have won on their last 5 visits to this venue. For the final time at Palovaara, it's Birmingham against Leicester.
Dave, thank you. Let's meet tonight's riders then. And in the commentary box, joining Mr. Tatum is Chris Louis.
Thanks very much, Abby. Yep, here we go then. And Luke Harrison comes out at number 7, the rising star. Just 18 years of age. What an opportunity it is for him to be riding in the Premiership for the home team. And he'll be a touch nervous, but looking forward to the night nonetheless.
Yeah, next up is number 6, Ben Cook. He got injured in May at Killeen, broke his wrist and his scaphoid, struggled to come back from that. Didn't come back to the UK until very recently, but he's finding his feet again.
It's my man to watch for the Killeen Stars tonight, Ben Cook. Now, the captain, Nicolai Klindt, who has had injury problems in the past, in the recent past. He had a really nasty neck injury, but has ridden well this season. And he captains the side, riding at number 5 for the Killeen Stars here this evening.
Next up, Richard Lawson, riding at number 4. He's a very important rider for the Killeen Stars. I would say in the engine room with the team, but of course every rider's got a 6-point average, so he's got a vital role to play nonetheless.
Yeah, And he does well as well. And this man, what a season he's having again, doubling up with Glasgow as well in the championship. Won the World Long Track Championship round in Schiesel in North Germany yesterday, and is just lying in third in the championship with 1 round to go. Can Chris Harris win the World Long Track Championship in 2025?
Niels-Kristian Iversen at number 2 forms a very strong opening partnership with Grand Prix rider Jan Kvech. Of course, he is an ex-Grand Prix rider himself, lots of experience.
Grand Prix winner as well, Chris. He really did have a fabulous run of form. And this man, Jan Kvech, is in the Grand Prix. Whether he'll be still in the Grand Prix in 2026, that is yet to be decided. But there's no doubt that Jan Kvech has settled into British Speedway very well and has a big future in the sport. He's only 23 years of age. So the home team, we have Killeen coming out as the rising star, just 20 years of age. And the young Australian will be keen to finish the season on a high for the Oxford Spires.
At number 6 for the Spires, well, what a man to have in a reserve berth for you, Peter Kildemand. So much experience, former Grand Prix rider, plenty of former Grand Prix riders here tonight. He's struggled throughout the season on his return, hasn't ridden here for over 10 years, but he's now just finding his form.
Yes. 35 years of age, time does fly by, but Maciej Janowski, as you rightly say, another former Grand Prix rider. He's in the Grand Prix at the weekend in Wrocław, his home team. 34 years of age, had a birthday recently. Maciej has had a disappointing season, but on his night, still world class.
Victor Palovaara riding very well for him, but came in this side to replace Craig Cook. Hasn't scored the big points he has in the championship, but he's finding his feet.
Yeah, my man to watch for the Oxford Spires, and he'll be looking for a big performance here this evening if he can, that's for sure. Rohan Tungate, the Australian rider, mid-30s now. Rohan's been around a while as well, vastly experienced. Had a great season in 2024, hasn't quite replicated it in 2025, but he'll want to finish on a high here in 2025.
And number 2, Mitch McDiarmid, young Australian. He replaces Eric Riss in the side, who has had his problems once again with illness, so we wish Eric all the best for his recovery. But young Mitch enjoying his first season in the Europe and in SGP2 as well, down in 11th place in SGP2 with 1 round to go.
Yeah, another young Australian making his way in the sport, and Charles Wright coming out to lead the team tonight for the home team, the Oxford Spires. Charles, former British champion, has been down here for a couple of seasons, and he'll be wanting to get off to a flying start tonight and delight the home crowd. And there's a healthy crowd in. There's a really good atmosphere. There's been a beautiful bank holiday Monday. The weather has been glorious, and let's hope we are royally entertained this evening. They are the 2 teams, and for the moment we'll make our way back down to Abbey in the pit area.
Guys, thank you. The hashtag this evening, it is Oxcly. Doesn't actually roll off your tongue that well. Oxcly. So any questions you've got for Scotty, or indeed the guys in the commentary booth, use that hashtag and I'll ask them later on the show. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be on with the action here in Oxford.
Yeah, we're down at the start line here, and they've made a real effort to try and rip the starts up, but they've actually ripped them up and probably put too much water in here. So early doors, this inside gate off gate 1 here, there's going to be too soft. So if you come down to here, that's going to be a good spot. They've ripped up all of the starts here. They've done the same thing, but you can see there's a real inconsistency between bits that are too soft and then bits that are actually really, really good. So the rider's going to really have to pay attention to that and what's going on. I'm going to come to the outside gate because gate 4 is always the one that can be a little bit problematic because it's right on the racing line. So it's ripped here. Early doors, it's going to be okay, but we have a really short run from here to the first turn at Oxford, and what you've got to be careful of and pay attention is when the riders come over the start-finish line, as they hit this real grippy spot, it kind of fires them into the corner. So they've got to be ready and braced when they come over the start-finish line so that they don't go past the corner. But it's been a red-hot day here today. It's been really warm. They've been trying to put a lot of water into the track. And the track actually is really quite good. We're going to have a little wander up into the first corner here. And as you look when you look back, if the cameraman pans out, you can actually start to kind of see where the natural racing line is. You'll see a kind of a slight curvature in the track. So as an away rider, when you come here, if you've never been before, there are little things that you can kind of look at when you walk in the track just to try and pick up on. Interestingly, it was always, we obviously go anti-clockwise around the track. So we're walking this way, but as a rider, I'll always have a little look back on myself. Just look back up the track to see what the entry to the turn is like. You can then start to get a bit of an idea of where to make your turn into the corner, how the track lies. You can start to see if there's any off camber. So you kind of have those things mentally in your head ready for when you're coming into it. And then you kind of have your little landmarks as well. So as silly as it sounds, like little banners on the fence and things like that, you can just pick up a certain sign and go, okay, right where the real mini sign is, I kind of want to start to make my turn back. But track looks really good. They've ripped the outside a little bit. Hopefully that's where the boys are going to be heading for later on. But like I said, it's been really dry here today, so it's going to be difficult to get that moisture in. So the racing line will move up, drift right back down to the inside. By heat 15, they'll all be chasing that white line.
Welcome back to Oxford on this bank holiday Monday. Lots of families out tonight, hopefully enjoying, or about to enjoy, some great speedway. It is the Spires versus the Stars. Now, the Stars have had the better of the Spires on every meeting between these two teams so far this season. Can the Spires have revenge tonight? Let's see. In the commentary this evening, then, is Chris Louis and first Calvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby. Yep, there'll be no doubt that the home team will be very keen just to bounce back from a poor performance last week where they only scored 27 points to 63 for the Killeen Stars. That really was a very one-sided affair indeed. And Charles Wright has the responsibility with the number 1 on his back for the home team to get them off to a strong start here. He's going to be coming off gate number 4. The Oxford Spires won the coin toss and have elected to choose the gates in heat number 15. Killeen have gone for 1 and 3 in the opening ride of the night. Peter Schreig, it's been a long, hard season in the Premiership for the German, looking after the home team. Never really got going, but with a couple of matches to go here in Oxford, and it's so good to have the sport back in Oxford, they'll want to finish with a couple of victories if they can.
Yeah, absolutely, and in particular against the Killeen Stars, of course, who have won all 5 of their meetings so far. So if you're going to do it against those guys. But I think the thinking with letting the opposition pick the gates in the opening heat were probably in the hope they would take 1 and 3 and get gate 4 out of the way. They've got it 4 times in the opening 6 heats.
Line up for heat number 1. We've got Niels-Kristian Iversen going off the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Gate number 2 in blue is Mitch McDiarmid. Gate 3 in white is Kvech, and off the outside in the red helmet colour is Charles Wright. Good looking line up here for the Killeen Stars with Kvech and Niels-Kristian Iversen. On paper it looks stronger for the opposing team in heat number 1, but you don't win races too often on paper, but there's no doubt that they're looking good here. Peter Schreig, who at times must have been really frustrated throughout 2025, but maybe a little bit of relief tonight. He'll be keeping his fingers crossed that his team hit the highs here tonight. Good crowd, as I say. Lovely evening. Here we go. First race of the evening. Green light comes on, but tapes are up and we're racing. Kvech's made a fantastic start out of gate number 3. It's followed through on the inside by Niels-Kristian Iversen. Gates 1 and 3 working beautifully. Coming into 3rd place is Charles Wright, trying to hunt the pair down from the Killeen Stars, but the fast starting Killeen Stars are out in front, dominating proceedings in the opening race.
Yeah, Kvech is riding very nicely, riding just mid-track. not going any further than he needs to try and find maximum grip. Niels-Kristian Iversen doing a good job, riding slightly narrower, and Charles Wright really just looking for a way up the inside, but it's no chance. It's slick conditions at the moment. As Scotty said, it's been a hot day. Track will settle down.
And Kvech into the last lap, has ridden lovely out in front. His bike absolutely leapt off the start line. Niels-Kristian Iversen playing that role, just protecting the inside, because Charles Wright has been lurking around in third place. But the visitors, fine start in heat number 1, maximum score. It's 1 and 3 working well for them. And once they hit the front, and that's where they remained. They dominated the 4 laps. And that man in particular did look really accomplished. As I say, he hasn't been riding in the UK for that long, but he has acclimatised very well indeed. So Kvech out in front, 3 points for him, 2 points in second place for Niels-Kristian Iversen. Charles Wright, 1 point in third, and Mitch McDiarmid missed out in heat number 1. A big 5-1 for the Stars to get us going.
Yeah, just the start that the Stars would have wanted, and Jan Kvech, as you say, doesn't have vast experience in the UK, joined the Stars midway through last year, but settled down very quickly, riding in the Grand Prix, picking up so much experience there. And of course, Niels-Kristian Iversen just doing what he had to do, rode around the inside for 4 laps in the opening heat, no way around the outside for Charles Wright. He had a look in the first couple of laps, soon realised that wasn't going to be the quickest way around. Great start for the Stars.
Indeed, lovely riding style of Jan Kvech. Quite relaxed on the bike. He doesn't really fight with it too much. And as Chris was saying, has settled in very nicely to ride in the UK. Long may that continue. Heat number 2, riders have been released and they're making their way round to the start line. Home team need to bounce back after that big 5-1 from the Kings Lynn Stars, as Chris pointed out. And Abby did, to be fair, at the top of the show. The Kings Lynn Stars have had the upper hand over the Oxford Spires throughout the season. They've met each other 5 times, and every time the Kings Lynn Stars have come out on top. But here, at home, you've got to believe the Oxford Spires will be very keen to try and reverse that trend if they can. Line up for heat number 2. Here we go, Peter Kildemand on the inside gate in the red helmet colour. Ben Cook coming out of gate number 2 in white. Luke Killeen, gate 3 in blue, and off the outside, Luke Harrison, the rising star for the Kings Lynn Stars. He'll start from there in the yellow helmet colour. Peter Kildemand, the experienced rider here, Chris, must be favourite.
Yeah, of course, off gate 1 as well, and the Spires have got to make the most of gates 1 and 3 here. As I said, they'll have 2 and 4 3 times in the next 4 races, so they've got to take advantage when they do have it to try and keep in touch. Bit of a gamble giving it away in the early heats, I feel.
Surprised I am, actually, about that, but we'll see if it pays dividends at the latter stages of the evening, particularly when we come towards the end. Let's hope that the meeting is still alive coming to heat 15. It is a brave call to give the first race away. Riders coming forward. Our referee this evening is Seth Perkin. He's in the hot seat tonight. Our marshal moves away. We're happy. Green light comes on. Takes her up and away we go. Look at that from Cook out of 2. He's made a lovely start. Fires himself to the front. Really superb. Peter Kildemand up the inside. Round the outside comes Killeen. So it's a shared race right now. But the fast starting Ben Cook, I mean, really did drop the clutch right on the bang. And he is pulling away out in front. Killeen is coming through into second place. Shared heat right now.
Yeah, the Spires having to settle for 3 points in this one. Doesn't look like there's any catching. Ben Cook just riding around the inside on the slick stuff. Bike set up perfectly and rocketed off the start. As you say, he doesn't weigh too much.
No.
So he's able to go for a brave setup with the bike, working for him a treat so far.
A season of what might have been for Ben. Of course, he rode for the Bellevue Aces in 2024. Came to the Kings Lynn Stars full of enthusiasm. Of course he did, but that nasty injury he sustained early on really has curtailed his performances. Super ride here, though, in heat number 2. Ben Cook wins comfortably. 3 points for him, and 3 points for the Oxford Spires, with Killeen and Peter Kildemand coming through in second and third place. But could be a big night for Ben Cook. As I say, back to fitness. Has been riding, as you say, on the continent, but has joined back up with the Stars to complete the season for them, and that's an encouraging performance for the Australian in heat number 2.
Yeah, as you say, Ben was given plenty of time to make his way back to the UK, continued to ride in Poland after his initial injury layoff, and was struggling. He was put under a lot of pressure in Poland, but he was struggling to even ride the big tracks, but he had no such problems tonight, finding his feet straight away in heat number 2. Key rider to have down at reserve for you, and he makes a beautiful start, just rides around the middle of the track, bike working lovely. And Peter Kildemand there, nice shot of the leg trailing, last of the leg trailers there, Kelvin.
Yes, he is a bit of a throwback in lots of ways, and he has that all-action style, but sitting down in the seat, not one you would see in the Speedway manual, no question about that. But
wasn't for
Ben
me,
Cook,
no.
no, it wasn't for me either. But for the young Ben Cook, who is certainly looking good in heat number 2. So we'll have the result for heat number 2 now. Ben Cook 3 points out in front. Killeen in second place, 2 points. 1 point for Peter Kildemand in third, and Luke Harrison misses out in heat number 2. So right now we have a 4-point deficit to the home team, 8 points to the Kings Lynn Stars, and 4 points to the Oxford Spires at this early stage. Heat number 3, riders being released. Let's say Peter Stroke didn't look best pleased there, did he? But he would have been looking for a little bit more, and I can understand why. Gates 1 and 3, he would have wanted the heat advantage in heat 2.
Yeah, if you're going to give away those 1 and 3s in the early heats, you've got to take advantage. In a couple of heats, you do have them.
Indeed. It's Victor Palovaara, a rider that I think we need to keep an eye on this evening. I've picked him out. I did notice earlier in the season he was really picking up a lot of points for the Monarchs. Yeah, really flying. Big. Rob Lyon just having a chat with a couple of his riders. Will be pretty pleased. Rob Lyon doesn't get too excited. Line up for heat number 3. Chris Harris from the inside gate. White helmet colour for him. He was riding on a 1,000-metre track yesterday. I do hope he makes the first corner here. Victor Palovaara comes out of gate number 2 in blue. Gate 3 in yellow, Richard Lawson, and Rohan Tungate will start the evening for the Oxford Spires from the outside in the red helmet colour. I've actually done that. I've ridden at Sheasel and then flown back and ridden at Wolverhampton. It took me 3 races before I actually managed to get round the first corner.
Have you ever reached for the gear lever on the way to the corner?
Yeah, I was thinking, where's the second gear gone? On the long track bikes, they have a second gear, so you've got a second lever on the handlebars. But again, congratulations to Chris Harris for winning the World Long Track Championship round in Germany yesterday. He's back representing the Kings Lynn Stars here this evening. Can they keep the momentum going in heat number 3, the Stars, with Harris and Lawson? Good looking pairing actually. Or will it be Palovaara and Tungate that buck the trend a touch? We've got Kvech and Niels-Kristian Iversen keenly looking on, satisfied with their performance in the opening race of the evening. Here we go then. Tungate just taking a little bit of time, a little bit undecided where to start from. Here we go then. Oh dear, we've got the red line. So Tungate may well be excluded here.
Missed the time. He was still playing around at the start.
I did notice that the time had run down, but it looked like that the referee was going to be kind to him, but maybe not.
Well, you can't. You know, a clock's there for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so Rohan Tungate, I'd said actually he was undecided, and that indecision quite possibly is going to lead to him being excluded. We'll wait and see. Yeah, the red exclusion light is on. So the exclusion light is now on, the red helmet, but this is a little late actually. It's when he was actually ready to go and then suddenly decided to move, and that
changed his position.
Yeah, that cost him.
The clock had run down by then.
So now Peter Stroke will have a decision to make.
Could go.
You can speak to the ref if you want. Yeah.
There's no point talking to the ref. As far as I could see, the clock had run down.
Yeah, he was out of time because it had switched back to 2, hadn't it? It'd gone back to 2 minutes. So as they were building up, he was close to gate number 3 and seemed relatively happy there. And then he's having a dig around. If you look in the background, he's only got a few seconds left. It's 0.
It's 0
and
now.
He's not ready to go. So unfortunately, he just missed out there by probably 1 or 2 seconds. But unfortunately for him, his race is run. And he'll have a word, but I can't think that the referee will change his mind.
Pick it up first.
It's a very rare occurrence, I think, in all the time I've been involved in Speedway, which has been some time now. I think I've seen it once. I was actually in the meeting at Coventry where a race was rerun, but it is extremely unlikely that this is going to change, because unfortunately...
I fear for the phone at this point. Could be a broken phone by the end of this conversation, but you've got to feel for Rohan. But at the end of the day, the clock's there for a reason, and you know, you can't give a rider 1 or 2 seconds, because then the next rider wants 3 or 4, and it just doesn't work.
I think the gist of the conversation is he felt he had to move, but I did notice he sort of lined up close to gate 3. Now, whether the start marshal wasn't pleased with that, but I think he was relatively happy with it. But anyway, a bit of confusion and a delay to proceedings nonetheless, and a blow for the Oxford Spires if it remains that he is out of the race. Whether Peter Stroke determines... It's quite a long conversation, but...
I think I can see Peter Kildemand ready out on track for the rerun. So.
Is it?
Well, it's either Peter or Luke Killeen. Can't really see clearly from here. Luke Killeen, yeah.
So young Luke Killeen will come in to replace Rohan Tungate here. The angry, frustrated Australian is not going to be put back in or reinstated into heat number 3. So clearly unhappy about that decision, but the bottom line is that he will be replaced by Luke Killeen. We could well get some reaction with Rohan. Yeah, Scotty's there for us.
Yeah, Rohan, just real quickly, what's your take on what happened there?
Well, the start marshal said yes, it's okay, and then he come back.
So, meaning you were too close to gate 3, or?
Yeah, he thought it was too close. No, he accepted it, and then I come back, and he said no, and I moved. So I don't know what I was meant to do differently, yeah.
Oh, man, that's a tough one there. Feel for you, mate.
That doesn't matter.
Good luck. Back to you guys.
Awkward moment for all concerned, really, if that was the case. But I did notice that he was close to gate 3, but hey, unsatisfactory all round. But young Luke Killeen is back out for his second consecutive race here in heat number 3. Second time of asking for heat number 3. Chris Harris is on the inside in a white helmet colour. Victor Palovaara at a gate number 2 in blue. Gate 3 in yellow is Richard Lawson, and Luke Killeen coming is the replacement for the excluded Rohan Tungate for gate number 4 in the red helmet colour. Richard Lawson, he's an experienced campaigner now, Chris. He's been around some time, always has a solid season, very rarely has a bad run. He's always in the points.
Yeah, he's a solid point scorer. That's why team managers like to have him in the side, and you know, he very rarely lets you down. As you say, he will always score points. Very laid-back character, but out on track, quite a tough cookie.
Yeah, he tends to do all his own mechanicking. He drives everywhere. He's a hard-working speedway rider, and at times he defies the laws of physics, really. He must be quite tired at times, but still does a terrific job day in, day out. Rob Lyon, just pretty calm right now. Happy with the start that his team has made. Heat number 3, here we go then, we're going racing. Tapes are up and we're on the way into the first turn. It's tight and it looks like the Stars have got there. Harris on the inside, and round the outside, the yellow helmet cover comes Richard Lawson. We were just chatting about him. He hustled that bike, he's looking good, he's letting the bike run. Now Luke Killeen comes into 3rd place with Palovaara relegated to the back, but Harris and Lawson dominating heat number 3 for the Kings Lynn Stars.
Yeah, the 2 experienced riders for the Stars out front, looking good. You got Chris Harris there just covering the inside line. Richard Lawson out front, riding slightly wider. Luke Killeen is doing everything he can. He came from last place past Victor Palovaara. He's always an exciting rider to watch, but he's struggling to make any ground up.
Yeah, he's electing to go round the inside, Killeen. Harris is now following Richard Lawson and is working it nicely. Of course, Harris rode here last year, knows this track very well indeed. Transferred across to the Kings Lynn Stars. Second 5-1 in the first 3 races. Don't know if Lawson had a problem coming out of the last corner, because Harris actually won the race in coming up the inside. Lawson eased off, but nonetheless, the points remain the same. It's a big 5-1. They move on to 13 points to 5. And they are dominating proceedings at this early stage of the night here at Oxford. And Harris, fresh from that victory yesterday in Germany, rushes back to the UK and gets his evening off to a terrific start in heat number 3. 3 points for Chris Harris. He wins the race. Richard Lawson settled for second place in the end. 2 points for him. 1 point for Luke Killeen in third, and Victor Palovaara missed out in heat number 3. Disappointing start here for the home team, but the Kings Lynn Stars will be pleased with the way things are going.
Yeah, very pleased indeed after this one, doubling their advantage to 8 points. And I've got to say, Victor Palovaara looked like he might be able to get a decent run up the inside, just leaving the first turn. But both Chris Harris and Richard Lawson getting good exits. You can see there, Chris Harris just looking to the outside, waiting for his partner. But yeah, great ride from the two Kings Lynn Stars. Of course, Chris Harris will be passing on all the knowledge he gained from leading the Spires here last year.
Yes. Richard Lawson just rolled out of the throttle as you come out of here, which was slightly, he's looking for his teammate, but he just rolls off the throttle there, so I'm not quite sure what that was all about.
Averages, I think, there, Kelvin.
Well, you said that, I didn't, but there we are. Peter Kildemand coming in to replace Luke Killeen.
Say what you see, say what you see.
Yeah, exactly. But Peter Kildemand just replacing Luke Killeen, because they've switched them around. That would have meant Killeen would have had 3 on the trot, which would have been rather a lot for him. So Peter Kildemand just comes in as a reserve switch, which is perfectly understandable. Riders making their way round to the start line. Oxford Spires need to get going. They just haven't got going. They're not making starts. And you just wonder whether that decision to delay the choice of gates to heat 15 was the right one, because so far it hasn't worked for them. The Kings Lynn Stars have been much sharper away from the start, and on these slick conditions, that appears to be absolutely crucial tonight.
Well, the 2 times they've had gates 1 and 3, the Stars, they've got maximum points, so it says it all, doesn't it?
There you go. So the lineup for heat number 4 is Luke Harrison, excuse me, will go from the inside in the yellow helmet colour. The reserve replacement here is Peter Kildemand, blue helmet colour, gate number 2. Nicolai Klindt, the captain of the Stars, his first ride of the evening, gate 3 in white, and Maciej Janowski off the outside in the red helmet colour. The 2 captains going head-to-head here in heat number 4. Big weekend ahead for Maciej Janowski. Was nominated for the wild card position in the Grand Prix at his home track, his hometown. He's been there for a long time. Be looking for a big performance. And this season for Maciej Janowski, I thought he was going to kick on this year after coming back last season, but in reality that hasn't quite happened. He's had his moments, but they've been, I'd say they've been few and far between, actually.
Yeah, he's never fully got to grips with the conditions here in the UK. The tracks vary a lot more than they do, particularly in Poland, and he has found that at times, he's found that quite difficult to cope with.
At number 4, he'll be pleased to get off to a really good start here. Peter Shrug's team manager likewise, because it's been a tough start for the home team so far. Here we go then, heat number 4. Green light is on, tapes are up, and we charge towards the first turn, and once again the Kings Lynn boys are absolutely flying out of the start. Here comes Janowski. It's tight down the back straight on the opening lap. Peter Kildemand has to come out of the throttle, but once again it's terrific stuff from the Stars. Klindt out in front, Janowski coming around the outside. He charges into second place. Good move from him. Peter Kildemand winding it on as well, but Klindt leads the way for the Spires here in heat number 4.
Yeah, Nicolai Klindt knows this track very well. Of course, he joined the Kings Lynn Stars midway through last year after a quiet spell here at Oxford, but no such problems tonight, riding wider than anybody has done tonight so far, really picking up all of the grip coming off the corners, and at the moment it's a 4-2 to the Spires. They will extend their lead to the Stars, sorry.
Indeed. So Kings Lynn Stars once again starting this meeting really strongly, and Nicolai Klindt, the fast starting Danish rider, coming out on top here. Janowski's done well to come into second place, although it's close. Luke Harrison coming on strong there at the end of the race with Peter Kildemand out of the points, but for Nicolai Klindt, he is renowned for his starting. The Danish rider has been a good starter throughout his career, and he produced a really masterclass there in heat number 4. Richard Lawson and Rob Lyon having a chat in the pits, but Nicolai Klindt, meanwhile, is winning out on track. 3 points for him. Maciej Janowski working his way through into second place. 2 points, 1 point for Luke Harrison. Peter Kildemand failed to score in heat number 4. It's all going the way of the Stars, and they now have a 10-point advantage. They've got 17 points. The Spires have 7.
Yeah, looking at the replay of heat number 4, and it's the Stars here. The front. It's actually Ben Cook. I think there was a reserve swap there that we didn't catch, but you can see Nicolai just looks over his left shoulder, wants to see that his teammate is there. He is at this point, and of course Maciej Janowski's followed Nicolai Klindt around the outside, elects to go back to the inside, looking for an alternative line. I think once he knows that Nicolai Klindt is out there covering that fast line on the outside, there's going to be no way around him. So he's got to look for another way, but the speed at the moment, for sure, is out there on the fence coming off both corners.
Well, apologies to Ben Cook. We weren't informed about that, but nonetheless, he picked up a valuable point. Luke Harrison will be kept for a little later on. They're switching their reserves around quite liberally in the first 4 races, but we're 4 races in, and it's 17 points to 7. Let's make our way down to Abbey.
I'm just seeing what's going on in the pit area of the Oxford Spires. Peter Schrock just needs to rally his troops. At the moment, they haven't turned up. There is a good, healthy crowd here, and they want to see a performance from the Spires, but at the moment, the Kings Lynn Stars are dominating. That hashtag then is Oxcly, and when we come back, we'll be continuing with the racing here in Oxford.
Machine days and the Oxford Silk Machine days.
And welcome to our coverage from Palovaara, the final meeting at Palovaara, Birmingham against Leicester. And Birmingham initially looked like they were making a good start with Tobias Maciej in red, gating with Iversen in heat 1, but he went too wide on the second bend, and the Lions riders went piling through. Luke Becker in yellow and Max Frick in white. As I say, the last time the bikes will roar on this circuit in the West Midlands, and they are going to have a heat winner in the opening race with Iversen over the back from injury Luke Becker, with Max Frick in third for a shared heat in the opener. In heat number 2, watch out for the home riders here. Simon Lambert guesting in red, gets a little nudge there from Drew Kemp, which takes him into his race partner Sam Hagan, and the Leicester Lions take full advantage. The race continues after a rather messy start, it must be said, and Drew Kemp and Joe Thompson taking full advantage for the Leicester Lions to go ahead of Lambert and Hagan and record the first 5-1 of the meeting. As I say, not the cleanest of starts, with Simon Lambert in red certainly involved in a couple of clashes there, but the race allowed to carry on, Leicester taking advantage. Here's the start of heat 3. Ryan Douglas is the rider in white, outgating Paco Castagna in blue, with Keenan Rue in red trying to go around the outside. Douglas has an excellent record at Palovaara, both from his time with the Scunthorpe Scorpions in the Championship and also with Leicester, and he is really riding well at the moment. A really classy performer, scored 14 from 5 against Ipswich at home last week against that strong Ipswich side in Leicester's victory, and Douglas riding really as now number 1 in the number 3 berth for Leicester, showing the strength they have down their lineup. And this is Douglas confirming victory in heat 3 against Keenan Rue, and Paco Castagna making it 7 points to 11. Here we go with heat 4, and Zagar clearly edged the start there in red, but the race continues. Joe Thompson makes the start in yellow for the Leicester Lions, and battle on off the second bend with Zagar very close with Sam Masters. Sam Masters tried to get round the outside, couldn't quite do so. He'll turn back now on Zagar off the 4th turn. Still Joe Thompson, the rising star, with the advantage, and Matty Zagar trying to make it round the outside with Sam Masters still very much in the equation. And he gets alongside him again on the back straight. He gets in front again on the 3rd bend, and Zagar powers back around the outside. Good scrap here in heat 4, and it's still Joe Thompson with Masters and Zagar virtually trading paintwork for the 3rd time in the race as Sam Masters tries to make it through. It's still Matty Zagar in second. Joe Thompson race leads for the Leicester Lions. Round the outside though superbly comes Matty Zagar on the 4th turn. He makes it round the outside of Thompson, and finally the Slovenian hits the front. Some great stuff in heat 4. Joe Thompson in 2nd place, Sam Masters in 3rd. So a fabulous race there on the final night at Palovaara. Zagar takes it in heat 4, and the score now is Birmingham 10, Leicester 14.
Welcome back to Oxford after 4 heats. The score is 7-17. So all the fans here are going to want their men to pick things up. We've got a big evening ahead. Not many home matches left for this Oxford Spires, just 2 remain. So let's hope this proves to be a better one as it's started with the Stars in dominant fashion. Let's head over to Perry Bar now and get the latest from Dave Rowe.
Yes, the final night at Perry Bar, there's been 1 race advantage so far. It came in heat 2 after a really messy start, with in the end Simon Lambert and Sam Hagan colliding into the first bend for the Brummies, and that allowed Leicester to take full advantage, with Drew Kemp and Joe Thompson taking a 5-1. Heats 1 and 3 were both shared. The best action so far has come in heat 4, with Joe Thompson making the start and Batty Zagar having a fabulous scrap with Sam Masters. It's Zagar in red and Masters in white, with Joe Thompson having the advantage, and this battle really went on for the entire race, with the Leicester rising star Joe Thompson having the advantage, with Zagar and Masters battling throughout, and a couple of times Masters got alongside and almost actually in front of Zagar on the 3rd turn before Zagar made it back around the outside, with Joe Thompson still with the lead. Almost contact again off the 4th turn before Zagar finally frees himself to the attentions of Masters and goes off after Joe Thompson. Had a race winner earlier on with Iversen taking the first race, and with Zagar sweeping around the outside there of Joe Thompson, this gives Birmingham a second race winner on the night, but to the visitors with the advantage thanks to that 5-1 in heat 2. It's Birmingham 10, Leicester 14.
Dave, thank you. Well, let's get on with the action. Rohan Tungate coming out in this. Let's hope he has better fortunes on the start line. There's also a tactical sub. Janowski comes in place of Victor. So back to you guys in the commentary.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Yes, Peter Stroke making his move early on here. It's been a poor start for the home team. They're 10 points down, and Janowski came through into 2nd place. An encouraging ride from the captain. And Victor Palovaara has been was off Victor Palovaara coming out here, and Janowski coming in. So the pairing, and it's a tough race because Kvech and Niels-Kristian Iversen, who had a terrific start to the night in heat number 1, they'll be hoping that Rohan Tungate, who has not done a lap yet, and Janowski can do the business here. Tough one.
Yeah, very tough one. Rohan hasn't had the best of runs lately at Kings Lynn. He had trouble with his bike all night. They just couldn't seem to fix the problems, and obviously a torrid start tonight, missing the clock in his first one in heat number 3, so really does need to pick things up.
So Iversen just making his way round to the start line, just a little delayed coming out of the pit area, while the other 3 boys are already up at tapes. But still plenty of time, over a minute to go before they need to be there. Line up for heat number 5. Big race for the home team here. Simply have to get something out of this race. Rohan Tungate off the inside in the red helmet colour. Niels-Kristian Iversen, gate 2 in yellow. Maciej Janowski is the tax sub here. Victor Palovaara should be in the race, but he's been pulled out. Janowski, the captain, in. And Kvech, who rode lovely in heat number 1, won it nicely. He goes from the outside from the white helmet colour for the Grand Prix star. Peter Stroke, who has had a tough time. I think his state of mental health will be shot to pieces, and he'll need a bit of a rest. Yeah, he'll need a rest in the autumn, but can they turn it around here? They've thrown the big guns in, and Tungate will be very keen, I would think, to get away sharply from the inside gate. And can Janowski make something out of gate 3?
Well, it was only their 2nd time on gates 1 and 3 tonight. They managed to draw the heat in heat number 2 from there, so yeah, they'll be looking for a bit more this time.
Tough opposition. Tough opposition. Heat number 5, here we go. Green light comes on, away we go. And there's no doubt that Iversen's made a good start from gate 2, but it's all about Tungate and Janowski. Fabulous first turn from them. They've bounced back well here. This is great stuff from the home team. They've had a dreadful start to the night, but Janowski showing great class out of gate number 3. Roared around the outside. Tungate, the first lap of the evening for him. He's comfortably in 2nd place. Iversen at the back, but Janowski doing a great job here.
Yeah, Janowski doing a really good job coming in to replace Victor Palovaara. 5-1 at the moment for the Spires, and Iversen just swallowed up in that first turn. Yeah. Made a decent start off gate 2, but just rode round the middle of the track. Gave full opportunity for the 2 Spires to go either side of him.
And and that's duly what happened, and he's relegated to the back. That middle part of the track, even now, is dust kicking up. It's very slick. All 4 riders actually running across the corner and then trying to catch some grip to power down the straight, and the Oxford Spires bounce back. That's good news for the home team, and the crowd have woken up. They're chuffed to bits with that, and Peter Schroek will be pleased that he put the responsibility on Maciej Janowski, and Janowski duly delivered with a super ride in heat number 5, and they pick up their first heat advantage of the evening and close in a touch. As you see, the response is strong, and a generous round of applause for the 2 home riders as they pick up the maximum points in heat number 5. Maciej Janowski, nice ride out in front, 3 points for him, 2 points for Rohan Tungate in second place, 1 point for Jan Kvech, and Niels-Kristian Iversen missed out in heat number 5. Niels-Kristian Iversen, for a moment there, looked like he would get there, but then didn't quite and got swallowed up.
Yeah, Iversen made a good start. Bike lifted a little bit more than he would have liked. He was in the middle of the track, and Rohan Tungate saw the opportunity to cut back up the inside, and it was a good first turn from him, and Janowski there on the far wide outside. Track's just been watered, but no problems for him, and a very convincing ride for the Spires. They've got now, of course, they're going to have a run of majority of 1 and 3 in the second half of the meeting. 6 points down, they've given that advantage more or less with the coin toss, I would say, but who knows, they might be able to pull this back.
Encouraging signs in heat number 5. And they'll be feeling much happier about it. Can they pick up a bit of momentum by coming out on top in heat number 6? We'll see Charles Wright and Mitch McDiarmid for the second time tonight. They only picked up 1 point between them in heat number 1. They've had a patient wait. Nicolai Klindt, on the other hand, the fast-starting Danish man, the captain of the Killeen Stars, he picked up 3 points. And Ben Cook has already had a couple of rides so far this evening. I trust that Ben is out there, and he has 4 points to his name. That is him, Cook. He's got it written on his back. That's brilliant stuff indeed. So we are as per programme in heat number 6, but interesting now. Rob Lyon knows that he could well be in a battle tonight. Line up for heat number 6. Nicolai Klindt off the inside. He could be dangerous there. He's good away from the tapes. White helmet colour for him. Charles Wright, gate 2 in red. Gate 3 in yellow is Ben Cook, and Mitch McDiarmid off the outside in the blue helmet colour. Got to say that the Stars look strong in heat number 6 with gates 1 and 3.
Yeah, they've definitely got the advantageous gates. Mitch McDiarmid, outside gates, a tough race from him from there.
Yeah, it's a long way. You can see where the material's been literally forced away with the spinning rear tyres. They run across gate number 4, and the run to the first corner is quite slick, whereas the other gates possibly get a bit more drive all the way to the first turn. Peter Schroek, 6 points back now with that move with Janowski. Heat number 5. Can that inspire Wright and McDiarmid here? But Mitch McDiarmid is inexperienced, and he's got a lot of experience on the left side of him.
Yeah.
He's going to need to make a special start or do something pretty spectacular in the first corner here. Heat number 6. 18 points to 12. Killeen Stars really have had the upper hand against the Spires throughout the course of 2025. Wow. Klindt, fantastic. Ben Cook's there as well. They absolutely nailed the start, coming around the outside, but there's no room. The man with the blue helmet colour, it's McDiarmid, trying to do it, trying to force his way through. And now Charles Wright coming around the outside, but the Stars are out in front. Klindt, fast start off the inside. Ben Cook's there with him, having a great night.
Yeah, the Stars flew away from the start, absolutely perfect. And now it's Charles Wright taking up the chase as he comes up the inside of Mitch McDiarmid. Had a decent first lap. Young Mitch was doing all the right things, just didn't have the speed and could do nothing about the fast-starting Stars. Oh, here comes Charles Wright now at the inside. Great move.
Good move from Charles Wright, but Ben Cook responds brilliantly, fires himself straight back up the inside. Charles Wright just carrying a little bit too much speed into turns number 3 and 4. And the 5-1 is restored with Ben Cook responding immediately to the move by Wright. Nicolai Klindt, 2 out of 2. Ben Cook coming through in second place is having a good night here in Oxford. They pick up another 5-1. It's their third 5-1 of the evening, and the 10-point lead is restored, and they are still very much in charge of this Premiership contest here tonight on a lovely bank holiday evening. Here we go then, Nicolai Klindt, 3 points out in front, nice ride. Ben Cook, well, that was a good response when he got overtaken, 2 points for him, 1 point for the hard charging Charles Wright, and Mitch McDiarmid, a little unfortunate to be outside the points in heat number 6. Bottom line is, another big 5-1 to the visitors.
Yeah, the bottom line is, as you say, Kelvin, it's 10 points of difference once again, and it's all about the fast starting stars. You're right, Ben Cook came under fire later on in the race from Charles Wright, but you can see there Nicolai Klindt looking over his right shoulder for his teammate. Unfortunately, Nicolai, you're so fast, he's not there with you, but he is in second place. And Mitch McDiarmid did a decent first lap, had a look around the outside, then he made a quick decision to cut back to the inside, just looking for a bit of fresh dirt. Didn't quite work for him, it's a bit dry down there, a bit stony. This is the move now from Charles Wright up the inside. Clean as you like, but he runs across the corner, the slick conditions, backs the bike in, then he overturns it there, loses momentum, and Ben Cook responds immediately.
Yeah, Ben Cook read that very well.
Yep.
He appreciated that Wright was coming and just enabled him to run through, as you say, the slick conditions. And you saw there with the momentum, Wright ran past the corner. 10 points in it again, 23-13, heat number 7. Janowski's out again with Peter Kildemand. Big hitters here in heat number 7 with Harris and Richard Lawson, who had a 5-1 for the Killeen Stars when they came out for their first ride a little earlier on in heat number 3. Janowski's the best man from the Spires so far this evening. He's just dropped 1 point from his couple of rides, so can he kick on here and try and really inspire the Spires tonight to something
Inspire the Spires.
Inspire the Spires.
Well done, Kelvin.
Something a slightly better performance than they're putting up now. But here we go. Line up heat number 7. The man who's going to inspire them. Maciej Janowski's on the inside, the captain of the Spires in the red helmet colour. Chris Harris out of gate number 2 in white. Peter Kildemand, gate 3 in blue, and Richard Lawson will start from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Lawson and Chris Harris performed admirably first time out with a 5-1, but Peter Kildemand and Maciej Janowski, a lot of experience. Gates 1 and 3. Well, they've got to take advantage of it if they can.
Yeah, they've got gates 1 and 3 in the next 4 races, so if there's going to be a comeback, it's got to be now.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Here comes Chris Harris. He's a remarkable character, Chris Harris. You know, he rides an awful lot. He rides in 2 leagues in the UK. He's riding on the continent on his grass track bike all over the place. And still in his early 40s, I must say, he still retains tremendous amount of energy and enthusiasm for the game. That's an example to us all. I think by the time I got to his age when I was racing, I'd had enough. Here we go then. Heat number 7. And we're racing away. Chris Harris has made a decent effort from gate 2, but can he quite get there? No, Janowski does. Off the inside, that's a very good first turn. Oh, around the outside, it's close going into turn number 3. Janowski roars up to the outside. Here we come, Lawson up the inside, not quite. That's a tough first lap of speedway from Janowski, and he had to have eyes in the back of his head because Lawson is right there, pushing him all the time.
Yeah, Lawson's forced his way into second place, and he is chasing down Janowski with everything he's got, but Janowski out on that line, he's just always going to catch plenty of speed as they come off the corners, riding right out by the fence. Can't see any way back for the Stars pair now in this one.
But it's not enough for the Spires with Peter Kildemand at the back. They need to get some advantages now. But Janowski, the brilliance of Janowski in heat number 7, certainly on that opening lap, he really had to have all the angles covered, and he did it in some style. Janowski wins the race. Smashing ride. Richard Lawson and Chris Harris packing up the minor places. So the 10-point advantage is retained. The Stars move on to 26 points. The Spires are on 16. This man, I think he's scored half of them. He's got half the score of the home team from his 3 outings so far this evening. Janowski, that was a terrific ride. That was a smart ride. 3 points out in front. Richard Lawson in second place, 2 points for him. Chris Harris back in third, 1 point. And Peter Kildemand, unfortunately for the home team, he missed out on the points in heat number 7. But let's take a look at heat number 7 here. It was a good first lap.
Yeah, it's a well-worked first turn from Maciej Janowski on the inside. Makes a decent start, but he's coming under pressure there from Chris Harris. Just works the inside nicely, has a look. How far can he go? Realises he can't cover the whole track. Richard Lawson has found loads of speed coming off the first turn. And it looks, for all intents and purposes there, he's going to have a run up the inside. Brave move from Janowski. Chops back down, stops that run, makes him just get off the throttle, and then runs straight back across the corner out to the dirt. But here you can see how the dirt line's working. Richard Lawson makes up loads of ground around that first turn.
I thought he might have been able to do something there. It was very close indeed, but Janowski trusted his bike and put the bike in the dirt and pulled off a terrific move. Okay, let's get back down to Abby in the pits.
I'm going to go and get a word with Nicolai Klindt. He's writing in his notebook. I'm intrigued. Nicolai, I'm intrigued. What are you scribbling away there?
Secret notes. Nah, it's I got a book where I write the setups in from each heat, and then a little remark or a note. What went well and what didn't. I didn't really make any changes this time, but I rode the bike differently. So I just put more reps into the corner, felt better, was smoother.
I love that. I like that. A logbook on the move. Look, it's been a great start by yourself and by your team, fast starting. How much was it helped perhaps by getting the gate choice for 1 and 3?
Well, funny enough, I didn't want 1 and 3. The boys did. But now it has helped. You can see, especially gate 3 is better than gate 4. I made the better start of gate 1 this time, but it was more muddy than gate 2. So I actually thought I was going to spin through, but I made a good jump, and then I could sort of control the first corner. So far, so good.
And your first heat, you were out wider than anyone else has been riding so far.
It wasn't on purpose. I was struggling.
Don't write that in your logbook.
No, I did though. Nah. I was coming in one corner, I felt like the bike was coming around on myself, and then the next corner, I felt the bike was pushing me too hard, so that's why I ride a little bit different, and it would be better.
Nicolai, keep it going. Thank you for chatting. So just a reminder, more two-wheel action, but this time without an engine. It is La Vuelta at Stage 4, live tomorrow, 12:45 on TNT Sports 3. And British rider Tom Pidcock is the one to watch. Stage 4 looks set to test the riders. It's got some steep climbs early on, and then the race heads out of Italy and into France. So join Orlo and the team, as I mentioned, TNT Sports 3 and Discovery Plus at 12:45. But for Speedway, the hashtag is OxClimb. Get your questions to Scott Nichols using that hashtag. When we come back, we'll resume action with Heat 8.
Heat 5 at Palovaara with the Leicester Lions 4 points in front and making a flying start in Heat 5. Max Frick in white and Luke Becker in yellow, with Keenan and Roux trying to split them up. Paco Castagna out the back in this combination back together, who secured so many points for Leicester in the first half of the campaign. Luke Becker found an fend-off challenge here from Keenan Roux, who's trying to go around the outside into the second lap, and now he's trying to pass both, in fact, but covered off by Max Frick, who is an expert team rider. And as I say, early in the campaign, this Frick-Becker combination was really strong. Then Becker suffered the back injuries in Poland in early June, just back from that, and now really finding his feet back in the Leicester side as Max Frick race leads here from Luke Becker in second place. Keenan Roux third over Paco Castagna. It is worth saying once again that Leicester really enjoy their trips to Palovaara. They will be gutted that the stadium is closing, as everyone else is, because Leicester's record here is unmatched. They have a team who have riders who are pretty much made for the Palovaara circuit, and they're taking a 5-1 here in Heat 5 from Max Frick and Luke Becker over Keenan Roux to extend their advantage to 8 points. Heat 6 gets underway, and Sam Masters contesting the first bend there with Tobias Maciej. Like Masters in white gets in front of Maciej into the bend. Drew Kemp gets squeezed out by Jonas Jeppesen, and a 3-3 situation up the back straight for the first time. Sam Masters leading from Muciej, who's not had the season he would have wanted at number 1 for the Brummies, but really putting his effort in here, trying to get to some Masters. Masters controlling things. Masters the third of 3 strong heat leaders of Leicester get themselves ready for the playoffs to come in September. But Masters certainly under attack here from Muciej, who tried to move down the inside into lap 3, covered off by Sam Masters. It's still Jeppesen in third over Drew Kemp, so race on out in front, but you get the feeling that Sam Masters just about has Tobias Muciej covered here. Muciej the big burst around the outside off the 4th turn, and he still race leads Sam Masters onto his last lap. Muciej doing all he can to try and come through. Jeppesen is wide off the second bend, and Drew Kemp is challenging now for 3rd place. So Masters comes around the final bend, and Kemp's going inside Jeppesen for 3rd here. Masters with the win. 2nd place is Muciej, and Kemp gets that 3rd place on the line from Jeppesen. So that puts Leicester into a 10-point lead, and they were away from the gate once again in Heat 7. This time Ryan Douglas and Kyle Howarth out-trapping Maciej with Simon Lambert missing out on the first 2 turns, and Leicester taking control big time of this meeting, as I say, on a circuit that they really enjoy coming through. They've won here on their last 5 visits in all competitions, only lost once in 8 overall, and they're showing exactly why here. Ryan Douglas and Kyle Howarth taking maximum points over Maciej as the Lions move clear on the Brummies' final night at Palovaara. 7 heats gone here. It's Birmingham 14, Leicester 28.
Welcome back to Premiership Speedway after 7 heats here in Oxford. It's 10 points separating the 2 sides, 16-26. Let's head to Palovaara now and get the latest from Dave Rowe.
Well, Leicester have taken control of this meeting, as the form guys really said they would do. They had a great record around Palovaara last night, or no last night, for the home side. Here's the start of Heat 5 with Max Frick and Luke Becker team riding over Keenan Roux in 3rd place in red, and Becker looking over his shoulder to see exactly where his rival is. These two, Frick and Becker, a big combination for Leicester in the first half of the season prior to Becker's injury. They need Becker back and scoring, and that's what he's doing here at Palovaara, joining up with his captain Max Frick for maximum points in Heat 5. No way through for Keenan Roux and Paco Castagna. Leicester with a great record, to say, on this circuit, and showing exactly why as the meeting is going on, with Sam Masters here in Heat 6 holding back the challenge of Tobias Muciej, who did all he could to try and make his way through. The Masters covering all the angles. Drew Kemp came through for 3rd place against Jonas Jeppesen, and then Ryan Douglas and Kyle Howarth took maximum points over Maciej in Heat 7. So Leicester now in full control. 7 heats gone. Birmingham 14, Leicester 28.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I'm here down on the 1st and 2nd bend of Oxford, and if you just look over my shoulder right now, you can see the lighter brown bit which is shiny. That's going to be really slick, and you see a few of the boys when they're coming in the corner keeping on their right foot. As they're half around the corner, that right foot's coming off. That's telling me that the track is slick. They're having to turn the bike really hard, but they've got to fully commit to this dirt on the outside here. And if I come and spin around here, the camera will follow me, you can see right where these tyre tracks are. Like, there's the loose material here, but the actual grip is not until you kind of get right to here. So you can see how close we are to the fence. Where that becomes tricky is they've got to come all the way across that corner, leave a big void here. So it's a commitment and a confidence thing. You've got to come right out. But if you look at the dirt line, as it comes around here, the fence then starts to come back. So when we get those awesome drone shots, and you see the boys starting to kind of turn back off the fences because they're getting all the grip here. You're very close to the fence. The boys are going to come even wider, and then they kind of have to turn back, otherwise you're in the airbags, and you don't want that to happen. There will become a point where this dirt comes too wide. It's been a hot day here, so they're doing well to try and keep the moisture in it, but then it's going to start to pan down. So you're going to start to see this big disparity between riders right out here and right down on the inside. Right now, we're going to hand back to Abby.
Scotty, great insight. Thank you very much. We've 6 Champions League playoff second legs coming up this week, including Rangers' trip to Club Brugge on Wednesday, where they look to overturn a 3-1 deficit. That's then followed by the draw for the league phase, which is where the elite clubs enter the competition on Thursday from 5 p.m. on TNT Sports 1. But here in Oxford, it's the second half of this meeting. What can the Spires produce? Back to you, Calv and Chris.
Thank you very much, Abby. Yeah, the Spires have got to make this a meeting of 2 halves. They really have got to flip it on its head if they're going to get themselves right back in with a half a chance. as we go towards the conclusion this evening. Heat number 8, as Abby was rightly saying, it is the midway point of the evening, and we will take a look at the lineup for you. Heat number 8, the lineup. Luke Killeen goes from the inside in the blue helmet colour. Luke Harrison, he'll start from gate number 2 in yellow. Mitch McDiarmid out of gate 3 in red, and Niels-Kristian Iversen goes from the outside in the white helmet colour. Now, look, Niels-Kristian Iversen won't thank me for this, but possibly the combined ages of the riders on the inside.
Don't even say it, Kelvin.
All right, OK. Just a thought I went through. I did see him, actually. I had a chat with Niels before the meeting started. He still says that he's really enjoying his speedway. He's 43 now, and he's had a fine career. And he still seems to have retained all the enthusiasm, so great to see. And
there's a lot of youthful enthusiasm on the inside of him for this one.
Very much so indeed. So it could be quite an exciting first corner, but back to the serious business of the 10-point deficit for the Oxford Spires on 16 points. They could do with McDiarmid and Luke Killeen picking up a heat advantage, a 4-2 as a minimum, you would suggest, in heat number 8, just to try and stem the tide, as it were, because the Kings Lynn Stars have turned up, and they've turned up in style. Iversen is coming forward now with 3 seconds to go. That's tight. Heat number 8, green light comes on, tapes are up, and away we go. Iversen's made a lovely jump from the outside. Oh, my God, he's come There it is indeed, in spades. What a move, and McDiarmid's come through into second place. But I've got to say that the vastly experienced Niels-Kristian Iversen has ridden superbly well there. Harrison is coming into second place, or is he? Because McDiarmid has come round the outside, but Iversen with a clout in the first corner leads the way.
Yeah, Iversen stood firm on that first turn. Luke Killeen was exceptionally keen on the inside. I had a feeling we might see something like that. Got a fair play to the lad. You've got to give it to him. He made every effort to make sure that Iversen didn't get around him, but all that experience came to the fore. Iversen now out wide, looks plenty quick enough. I think he's going to be able to keep Mitch McDiarmid behind him. Great ride from Luke Harrison as well.
Yeah, strong ride from young Luke in third place. Killeen at the back, but Iversen on paper really was favourite for heat number 8, and he's come through. Nice ride for him, and another heat advantage for the Kings Lynn Stars, and their momentum is continued, and they are in charge of this Premiership battle here at Oxford this evening. They move on to 30 points to 18. It's now a 12-point advantage to the visitors, and it's really going along very nicely. Niels-Kristian Iversen, 3 points for him. Mitch McDiarmid, good ride from McDiarmid in second place, 2 points. Luke Harrison, solid in third place, 1 point for him and Luke Killeen. Even despite he tried to knock Niels-Kristian Iversen out of the way, didn't quite work out for him. Let's see it again.
Yeah, it's always nice when a team manager's got a rider of the experience of Niels-Kristian Iversen to have in heat 8 or 14, but really did get clattered into as he came across. Got to say, Niels was equally as determined to get across to the inside from gate number 4, but he makes a really good start. You see there, Luke Killeen just gone straight across. I don't know, I think he's been under instructions from his team manager there. You've got to stop the run of Niels-Kristian Iversen. Well, he gave it absolutely everything he had and a little bit more. But Luke Harrison, good ride from him, really did ride very nicely. Mitch McDiarmid just getting the better of him on the first couple of laps. But once the race settled down, he kept Luke Killeen behind him.
Got to say, Mitch McDiarmid was on the pace. He was not that far away from Niels-Kristian Iversen, so encouraging ride from the young Australian in heat number 8. But Iversen, with that really determined effort in the first corner, and it needed to be, came out on top. 12 points is the difference at the midway point. We're getting through the heats now. Heat number 9 is with us. The Spires are on 18, the Stars are on 30. You see Rohan Tungate for the third time, although he's only actually raced once so far because he ran out of time in his first one. Was unhappy about that, but bounced back with a 5-1 with Janowski way back in heat number 5, and he's back out here in heat number 9. Here comes Nicolai Klindt, who is unbeaten so far. He's having a great night. Rob Lyon, he'll be pleased with his team so far tonight, that's for sure. Number 9, we've got Victor Palovaara, who was pulled out of his last ride. He's only had one ride. He's on the inside in the blue helmet colour. Needs a good ride here. Gate number 2 is Nicolai Klindt with the white helmet colour. He's quite useful away from the tapes. Ryan Tungate, likewise, is a good starter. He's out of gate number 3 in red. And Ben Cook, who's going along quite nicely this evening. He is on the outside in the yellow helmet colour. That graphic wasn't quite right. He's had 3 rides so far this evening. It said it had 2 rides, but Ben Cook out here for the 4th time. He's a busy man, but Victor Palovaara and Rohan Tungate, the man there, the responsibility for the home team here has to be with Tungate. And he'll be keeping a keen eye on that clock. He's got just over 30 seconds to be ready to go.
Yeah, Ben Cook, interesting to see him on the outside there. Really, if he rides into where he looks like he's prepared, he's got a lot of angle on the bike. He looks like he just wants to go straight to the inside.
Yeah, it could be a bit of argy-bargy like we saw last time.
See here now, he's angled over fairly.
Yeah, both of the Australians are actually angled over, trying to get a good run into that first corner. So here we go. Can the Spires gab something out of it? They've only had 1 heat advantage so far tonight. But what a start out of gate number 2. Nicolai Klindt really is in the mood and hugs the inside. Here they go down the back straight. Ben Cook is just squeezed out of it with Tungate charging through into 2nd place. Back in 3rd is Victor Palovaara, but I've got to say Tungate's coming on. Nicolai Klindt under a bit of pressure as they go into the 2nd lap, but now he pulls away with a great move off of turn 2 on the 2nd lap.
Yeah, Nicolai Klindt, that little notebook of his is working a treat tonight. He's got all the right information in there, because I've got to say, in his 2 race wins tonight so far, and this one, he has looked the quickest rider out there. Bike working so well off the start.
Yeah.
And he's riding confidently. He's riding right up to the fence, wider than anybody, and going very quickly.
Ben Cook's having a right go at the back. Nicolai Klindt is comfortable out in front, and Ben Cook has actually got the better of Palovaara coming off to turn 4 as they go into the last lap. So once again, the Kings Lynn Stars are just relentless here this evening, pushing on once again. Another heat advantage, and Klindt remains unbeaten. He's having a terrific night of Speedway here for his team. He's leading, he's playing the captain's role here tonight. And Nicolai Klindt, who made a lovely start. As you say, Chris, his bike is working a treat out there tonight on this particular surface. And everything going the right way for Nicolai Klindt. I wonder what he's going to write in his notebook this time. Klindt, 3 points for him out in front. Rohan Tungate back in 2nd place, 2 points. Ben Cook coming through into 3rd place, 1 point for him. And Victor Palovaara, unfortunately, is not having the night he would want. It really is not going well at all. He hasn't scored so far, but we'll see this again.
I'm sure Nicolai Klindt will be writing, rider worked well, bike worked well, everything good. You can see there, he just looks over.
Speedway's easy.
Yeah, it is. It is when it's like this.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often. He was having a look because he elected to ride around the inside on the first turn. He was aware that Rohan Tungate would be attempting a big run around the fence. Had a look, realised that even on the inside, the bike's working well enough. As soon as he gets a clear run, goes straight out to the dirt, riding nice. You can see now the move from Ben Cook at the back as he just squeezes there on the outside of Palovaara. I don't think Palovaara was aware that he was even coming. You could see he had to quickly react and adjust his body position and the bike on the track. But another heat advantage for the Stars.
Yeah, it's all one-way traffic so far after 9 heats this evening, and Nicolai Klindt, who has 9 points to his name, is the only rider to remain unbeaten at this stage. He's having a terrific night, as is his team. So heat number 10. We've got riders on their way to the start line. The rider in blue is Mitch McDiarmid, who had a good ride in heat number 8. Picked up 2nd place, got the better early doors of Luke Harrison. We'll see him in Denmark as well next month in the 3rd and final round of the SGP2 series. The Australian picking up lots of experience internationally as well. So riders are now up at Tate. Well, not quite. Young Mitch is just making his way there now. Line up for heat number 10 is Mitch McDiarmid on the inside in the blue helmet colour. Richard Lawson out of gate number 2 in yellow. Charles Wright, gate number 3 in red, and Chris Harris will go from the outside in the white helmet colour. Got to say, it doesn't get any easier for the Spires, even though they've got gates 1 and 3 here. Harris and Lawson vastly experienced pairing and have gone well so far tonight. Charles Wright, couple of points from 2 rides, really does need to get to winning ways if he can, but his starting just hasn't been quite good enough this evening.
No, you're absolutely right, and I've got a feeling we're going to see a decent race here, because I'd be surprised if Chris Harris can make a clear start from the outside gate there. He's not renowned as being the quickest starter, even though he's got all of those years' experience. I think that probably does frustrate him a little.
Yeah, it does make life a bit easier if he can hit the front, but we do quite like Chris Harris missing start because he is box office. So here we go. Last rider to come forward is the young Australian on the inside in the blue helmet colour. Takes 1 and 3 for the home team, this time in heat number 10. Tapes are up, and away we go. Oh, that's a shame. McDiarmid's bike packed up on the way to the first turn. Hitting the front, round the first corner. Great turn from him as Lawson fires himself to the front. Charles Wright has come through into second place, but Harris is lurking in 30. He never knows when to throw the towel in, so this can be a race-long battle between Wright on the inside, Harris around the outside, but Lawson leads the way.
Yeah, Chris Harris doesn't have a towel. He's throwing everything into this one now on the inside. Can he make the bike work up the inside? Charles Wright there out in the dirt. No, he's now reverting back to the outside. This is where we're used to seeing him. This is where he likes to be. Just overturning the bike slightly, still turning when he came off the corner, didn't have his wheels in line, not able to make up too much ground.
Oh, it's tight
now.
He's charging on. We're into the final lap of heat number 10. Harris charging around the outside, kisses the airfield. Oh my goodness gracious me, nearly overdid it. Very nearly ran in the back of Charles Wright. Now the chance to the line, Wright just hangs on. Another lap.
That was a moment there.
It was quite a big moment. I think that Chris may well have had his heart in his mouth. Richard Lawson wins comfortably, actually, in the end. He misses all the action that went on behind him, because it really was a race-long battle between Wright and Harris, with Charles Wright just about hanging on in second place. But Lawson rock solid out in front, but Harris, without doubt, was Mr. Entertainment in heat number 10, and just defies all logic. He's into his 40s, but he rides like a youngster. Fabulous to see. Lawson out in front, 3 points, 2 points for Charles Wright, hanging on in second place, 1 point for the hard-charging Chris Harris, and the young Australian Mitch McDiarmid misses out in heat number 10. The result, well, it's going the way of the stars, but this was something to get excited about.
Yeah, Calv, you said that when you were his age at this point, you didn't have quite that enthusiasm. You didn't ride like... Did you ever ride like this?
No, if the truth be known, no.
I didn't think he did, neither did I. But he chases for the entire 4 laps. He never gives up, doesn't know how to do that. Richard Lawson's out front looking good, doesn't really know what's going on behind him. And a couple of times here, Bomber Harris just turned the bike coming off the corner, but he begins to wind it up in the last lap and a half. And here he makes this outside run work much better, doesn't overturn the bike coming off. There, I don't quite know what happened. He caught something on the bike there. Throttle went back. He's all at the wrong angle. I tell you what, that could have been very nasty.
Almost like the bike got away from him. Let's have another look at this, see what happened.
I don't know if he caught Charles somewhere. Oh no, he's just readjusted and still on the gas, maybe on the rubber that's gone down on the entrance to the corner.
This is, I'm going to use a word that you use quite often. Uncomfortable.
Was
an uncomfortable moment.
Was uncomfortable.
It was indeed. But
for everybody concerned, including the commentators.
Yeah, it was quite a moment for Chris Harris. But end result is that the Kings Lynn Stars move on to 38 points and 22 points for the home team. So it's going the way of the Kings Lynn Stars, and it could well be they get 6 out of 6 this year. The Kings Lynn Stars over the Oxford Spires. They are rapidly approaching the 45 points that they need to win here this evening. Not too far away.
You've got to say it's a season of sort of what if for the Stars, because if they'd have started the season as they have sort of pretty much finished it in the second half of the season, they would have been right up there in the playoffs, and everybody considered that they were that solid side and capable of doing that.
Yep. So heat number 11, Jan Kvech will start from the inside gate in the white helmet colour. Maciej Janowski having a good night. Comes out of gate number 2 in red. Niels-Kristian Iversen, fine ride in heat number 8. He's in gate 3 in yellow, and Peter Kildemand will start from the outside gate in the blue helmet colour. It's been a while since Kvech's been out there, actually. He's had to be very patient. He's had a couple of visits to the track so far. He's got 4 points, but Rob Lyon, well, as you say, it's this year that what might have been if they hadn't have lost Ben Cook earlier on, and if they just clicked a little bit more. Niels-Kristian Iversen has been a little up and down. He's had injury problems as well, but just hasn't quite worked out for the Stars. But Maciej Janowski is the man who could well be the one to keep an eye on here, because he's been riding very well.
Yeah, he has. You've got to say, right now, it's all about sort of saving face. You don't want to end the season on a defeat like this, do you?
Ideally, no, because it really has been. You want to give the crowd something to cheer about. You want to give your team manager something so he can come off the tablets at some point. But no, it's been a tough time. Here we go, hit number 11. Green light comes on and we're away, and Janowski's made a great reaction, but so is Jan Kvech on the inside. Can Janowski get back up the inside? It's going to be tight down the back straight. Iversen's come well. I tell you what, Iversen's done really well to get around the outside of Peter Kildemand. Kildemand very, very wide, charging through. It's tight. I tell you what, Peter Kildemand's done very well to then come around the outside of Jan Kvech. Janowski's at the back. Janowski working the bike, brilliantly up the inside. Tight for third.
Yeah, after a great start, Jan Kvech has just gone backwards. He rode around the middle of the track as he is right now. He left all the space for his teammate and Peter Kildemand to come around the outside. Once again, not going all the way to the dirt until pretty much on the straight. Wouldn't be surprised if Janowski can have a good go on Kvech here.
Peter Kildemand coming on strong in second place. We're into the last lap. Iversen is there in front, but Kildemand is lurking very closely indeed. Jan Kvech is under threat from Janowski with 1 turn to go. Iversen, winner of heat number 8, coming out here in heat number 11, picks up another win. And Jan Kvech hangs on in third, with Janowski disappointingly at the back, and Rob Lyon. His Kings Lynn Stars are now just 3 points away from a victory on the road, and to have a clean sweep in 2025 against the Oxford Spires. Niels-Kristian Iversen is having a terrific night this evening. There's no doubt about that. Iversen out in front, 3 points for him. 2 points for Peter Kildemand. That's his best ride of the night so far for Kildemand. 1 point for Jan Kvech, back in third, who didn't look particularly comfortable at times. And Maciej Janowski couldn't take advantage. For the first time this evening, Janowski misses out in heat number 11. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it's a strange first lap from Jan Kvech. He makes a good start. Janowski, as you said, made the best reaction, but then he goes straight to the middle of the track and allows Janowski with a run up the inside, but now allows Kildemand around the outside, along with his teammate. He had to leave some space there for Iversen, who was making a really good run. But straight away there, you can see Peter Kildemand managed to get around the outside, follow Iversen, and gave him a lot of things to think about for the entire 4 laps, but unfortunate again for the Spires, just going backwards. As you say, Kelvin, this one's pretty much done and dusted now for the Stars.
Indeed. And Niels-Kristian Iversen rolling the clock back there in heat number 11, coming out on top. He's won his last 2 rides, so he's having a good evening. And the crowd are just having to remain patient. And while we've got a pause, let's get back down to Abby in the pit area.
Peter, looking at your programme, it doesn't make for nice reading.
It's just another one. Yeah, it's not. It looked pretty good for a little while. Done the tacticals up, at the right time, and we got back into it, but then put the points away. Some great racing out there again today, but we're just falling short again off the starts and one thing another. And unfortunately, everybody likes coming here, so makes a good show for you anyway.
Oh, but for the home fans, Peter, I mean, just wanted to give them something to cheer about. Slightly awkward at the start. Why wouldn't Janowski choose the gate selection just to have those 1 and 3 and try and get some more points early on?
Well, it's a difficult one, Sometimes heat 15 can work for you, especially in heat 13 when you got a bigger. Listen, there's no excuse. If the boys, it doesn't matter. They have to go from all the gates. So it's not just the gate, and they're just not trapping as quick as the others. All the gates are very even here. We're pretty fair with the gates and one thing and another. And but the boys need to get their fingers out. So that's one thing I can't help them with sometimes.
Thanks for your honesty as always. Let's get an honest response from Chris Harris, because it was a tight, heart-in-mouth moment in Heat 10.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. It certainly was tight, and he's not used to these tight little tracks. First off, congratulations when you win on a long track. Slightly different scene.
Yeah, it's a bit smaller this track compared to yesterday, but no, it was good to get a win on a 1,000-metre track for the first time, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that.
and a little bit small here, and it got exceptionally tight. We're going to see the race right now. Just how close did it get between you and Charles Wright?
Very close. I thought I had a good run. I tried dive bombing in the lap before, and he sort of read it, and then yeah, we thought I would go big here. It was tight going in there, and I thought he was going to, as he was coming off the corner, was going to go drift wide to stop my run. So I went to cut back, but he's just turned, back left, and yeah, showed me the back wheel, which could have been a bit dirty. Really, it could have been a big crash as well if I sort of didn't read it at the same time. So yeah, desperate measures, I suppose.
Yeah, but good avoiding action. It's such split-second stuff. Like you said, you kind of thought you were anticipating what Charles was doing. He had a change of tact, and when you're that committed, you really haven't got a lot of choice. No,
definitely. It's like sort of foot down and no brakes, as you know. So it's like, well, we can get this stop. But yeah, it was unfortunate we didn't get the pass done, but we're still ahead, so that's the main thing.
That's on a positive note for you boys. I mean, it's a fantastic night. Unbeaten against the Spires so far.
Yeah, it is. It's going good. So let's keep it up to the end.
Well, let's good luck with that. Thank you, mate. Back to you, Abby.
Scott, thank you. Always so honest, always a good reaction. He's going to walk behind a camera. Oh, he's gone the other way. No breaks. Yes, they definitely don't have any breaks, and it was quite a moment. Right, we're going to take a short break. The hashtag tonight is Oxfly. Any questions for Scotty? Use that hashtag, and we've got 4 heats remaining here in Oxford. See you soon.
Heat 8 at Palovaara with Leicester 14 points in front and flying start by the away riders here, and trouble for Iversen in red, who lifts and hits the fence and goes down, and that will be disqualification for Jonas Iversen there, the Dane in Heat 8. So problems mounting for the home side. Only Sam Hagen going for them in blue. Very strong first bend, in fact, by the youngsters, to force out Luke Becker and then go around Joe Thompson on the back straight, with Becker not taking that line down, because Becker coming back to the inside in white to ease Sam Hagen out off the fourth turn and hit the front for the Leicester Lions, with Joe Thompson in that third place to get them a 4-2 to make it 32-16 after 8 races. Leicester have been dominant really from the midway stage, or performing way stage really, from 8-5 onwards. And here's a strong start here by Sam Masters in Heat 9 up against Paco Castagna, with Keenan Rue in red switching inside to Drew Kemp on the way into bend 3 and 4. This middle Brummies combination working hard to try and squeeze out Drew Kemp, who's got a great record round Palovaara himself, trying to make it back around the outside here of Keenan Rue on the second turn. Rue riding him out, but no stopping Sam Masters on his way to his second win of the meeting so far, having beaten Maciej in Heat 6. So Masters winning Heat 9 as well in a shared heat. Heat 10, it's a false start there by Jonas Iversen, and he's already been warned, so his miserable night is going to come to an end with a second disqualification. Previously warned for movement at the start, and Iversen clearly jumped there in Heat 10, so he is out of contention. Sam Hagen coming in as a replacement for him, the reserve, but flying start by the 2 Leicester riders once more. Max Frick having Ryan Douglas, I should say, and Carl Howarth over to Maciej in third place, and Leicester charging clear in Heat 10, taking full advantage of the situation with Iversen, who won Heat 1, don't forget, Iversen being disqualified, and these 2 Leicester riders have formed a good pairing themselves, as we've seen on numerous occasions. They get the 5-1 to go 20 points in front. Max Frick making a flying start there in Heat 11. Briefly Luke Becker at the back, he manages to force his way inside Simon Lambert off the second turn, and now it's all about Maciej in red trying to put the challenge in on Max Frick, but we know the quality that Max Frick possesses, especially when he's out in front. Has had a wonderful season for the Leicester Lions as captain, led them to the knockout cup back in July and trying to lead them to the double as well, and Frick seeing off Zagar in Heat 11 to put them into a 22-point advantage. The Birmingham's final meeting at Palovaara is not going to be a home victory. Leicester are charging clear, and they are going to take it here with no question whatsoever. Frick over Zagar in Heat 11, and with 11 going into the closing stage of the meeting, it's Birmingham 22, Leicester 44.
Welcome back to TNT Sports coverage of the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership. After 11 heats between the Spires and the Stars, the score 24-42. Another emphatic performance from the Stars. They're en route to a 6th win between these two teams this season. That'll be their 4th in the Premiership. Let's head to Palovaara and to Dave Rowe.
Well, it's certainly not going Birmingham's way, and it's certainly not going the way of Jonas Jeppesen, the rider in red here in Heat 8, jumping the start and then coming to grief on the second turn. That was an exclusion for Jeppesen there, taken out of Heat 8, and then he jumped the start in Heat 10, and that earned him a second disqualification for a second offence at the start line. So problems for Jonas Jeppesen, and that really summed up the way things are going as far as Birmingham are concerned. Their home form this season has been pretty poor, and they did win at Leicester earlier in the season. That was a shock result at the end of May, but it's going to be clearly a Leicester away win in this meeting. They have dominated. They've taken several 5-1 to 5-1 in Heat 10 from Ryan Douglas and Kyle Howard over to Tobias Muzenak, and then Max Frick seeing off Maciej here in Heat 11. So the final meeting in Palovaara is not going to be a home win. This, to be sure of that, with Leicester in full control, they're going to get a big victory on the road this evening. 11 heats gone at Palovaara. It's Birmingham 22, Leicester 44.
Well, the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series is back after its summer break for the weekend full of rapid racing in the ever-popular Haute-Savoie in France. It all kicks off with the short track races on Friday, where British rider Evie Richards looks to hold on to her lead in the women's standing. That's on TNT Sports 1 and Discovery Plus. But here in Oxford, it's time for Heat 12, and back to Chris and Kelv.
Yes, thanks very much, Abby. Heat number 12, as you rightly say, riders are just about ready to be released. Chris Harris just waiting for his bike to arrive. Last few adjustments made to Chris's bike. There he is.
To put it into perspective, he was saying how it was great to win his first 1,000-metre long track yesterday. And today he's on 286 metres.
Yeah, the transition is big, believe me. Different style of racing yesterday. Keep your wheels in line, try and carry as much speed as you possibly can. Here, at times, you almost feel like you're going backwards, and particularly on a slick surface here tonight after a lovely late summer's day. Bank holiday Monday often is wet, often rains, but today we had 29 degrees on the way here. Really is a gorgeous late summer evening. Number 12. And Ben Cook, who's had a good night, he goes off the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Rohan Tungate looking for a ride here, a win here, excuse me. Gate number 2 in red. Gate 3 in white is Chris Harris and Killeen off the outside in the blue. I was going to say it almost looked white. There's a bit of a pale blue, but blue nonetheless for Killeen on the outside. Not been the night for the Oxford Spires, and it can happen. I can remember winning the lead back-to-back in the 80s, and then the following season we were bottom of the league, the Coventry Bees, and no matter what we did, we just couldn't seem to get going. And you can have seasons like that.
Yeah, and it often does happen after such a great season in Speedway. One of the quirks of Speedway is team building to a points limit, and sometimes the most successful teams do tend to get ripped apart, so it does happen.
Well, that's exactly what happened to us. We lost Tommy Knudsen actually through injury that particular winter, and we just weren't the same team the following season. Oxford Spires looking for a little bit of a consolation. They need to get some heat victories. Can Rohan Tungate do that for them here in heat number 12? He'll be hoping so. Hasn't had a great run for the Spires this year. Had a disappointing start to the evening with an exclusion, but he's had a paid win and a second subsequently. Here we go. Away we go into the first corner, and it's young Ben Cook. Terrific start. Ooh, nasty little moment in the first corner. Chris Harris involved, and Killeen just getting in a muddle going into the first corner. I was actually concentrating on Cook on the inside. I didn't see exactly what went on there.
No, I think Chris Track has obviously just had a watering. I think he did knock the bike up. We'll have to just see it again, but he got clattered into it. I don't think there was too much Luke could do about that.
We'll watch it again and see exactly what went on here.
Yeah, Chris Harris there in white. Doesn't make a great start. Rohan Tungate comes across, just collects his back wheel, overturns the bike. Luke can do nothing about it.
Does well, actually, for a young and experienced rider to sort of put the bike down there.
Yeah, he got it turned enough to actually stop the bike's momentum. He didn't throw it at him, which sometimes a young rider can be tempted to do. But just there, Rohan just comes across, just collects his front wheel, and there's no way really he can stay on after that. I haven't heard what the decision is. I can't see the exclusion light.
There's no exclusion light on yet, but
for me it's all four. It's in the first turn.
Seth
It's all
Perkin,
close
the
contact.
referee, is having a good look at it. He's looked at it more than once, and then we'll make a decision. So Chris Harris makes his way back. It's none the worse for wear, just a little bit of shale on his Kevlar suit. Still waiting, no exclusion light, so it could well be all four back, which
should be.
Probably should be the right call, but we'll wait and see. So just hearing in my headphones now that it is confirmed that Chris Harris will be back in the rerun. Bit of running repairs for Chris. Looks like the handlebars may have just dropped down a touch.
Joe Screen would have just gone out on that, wouldn't he? Wouldn't have been a lot different to his normal setup.
Spot on, absolutely
I
spot on
would have said they were
for
great.
Joe. Hope Joe's watching tonight. If you are, all the very best to you.
Yeah,
Let's have another look at it.
Right decision. It's close contact in the first turn. The inside three certainly all get there pretty much together. Rohan runs across the corner, no malice. A little misjudgment there, and just touches the front wheel, unsettles the bike. Chris turns it a bit too hard and gets clattered into. But
it was greasy out there, wasn't it? Because they had just put a sprinkle of water on, and that hard surface, not ideal. But they're going to have to work quite hard here to get this bike ready. Phil Morris will be down there. The referee will give them give them a reasonable amount of time. Okay, while we've got this delay, let's get down to Ebby.
Just have a quick word. Chris Harris always in the thick of the action.
Always, isn't he? You know, he's a bit of a tight first corner there, and luckily all of them got out of it okay. So that's the main thing.
Yeah. Rob, it's been another dominant display from your team. They just go really well against the Spires. On paper, this is such a solid team. It's just such a shame that not everyone clicked at the same time. Obviously, Cook with the injury early on as well.
Yeah, the main, as I've said, the main difference was Ben Cook. You know, I mean, unfortunately got injured at the wrong time, and his average dropped. And yeah, that's Speedway, and we have to get on with it. But yeah, he's back now, and the boys are going so good. So that's the main thing, and we need to finish the season on a positive note.
Yeah, and you're absolutely doing that, and I'm just making sure we get out of the way of the bike. They've done well, Rob. It looks like they've got that bike sorted, and Chris will be back out.
Yeah, he's going back out again. He's going for it. So in true bomber style, you know.
Never dull. Rob, thanks so much. Back to you guys.
Never dull when Harris is in town. That's absolutely right. And interesting just hearing Rob Lyon's comments about the impact of losing Ben Cook at a difficult moment. Explain a little bit more. I'm a little confused when he says the average had dropped. Just give us a bit more context to that.
Yeah, he'd from the start of the season with rolling averages, the first set, I think it was probably the first or maybe second set of green suits had come out. His average had dropped, I think maybe a half a point or more. And obviously then they can only replace him with a rider up to that average. If it had been injured possibly a week earlier, they would have had another half or even a point. I can't remember the exact figures, but yeah, the timing was unfortunate. There's never a good time, of course, to lose a rider, and Ben was in the team, and I think he was being looked upon to make quite a big difference to that side. He's certainly moving in the right direction.
Riders are up at tapes. Unfortunately, the tapes have just broken, but they'll be replaced in double quick time. But that just gives you a bit of a one of the headaches for team managers when a rider does get an injury. It's not easy just to wave the magic wand and bring somebody in. But there's no question Ben Cook had a good season in 2024 and was looking for bigger and better things in 2025, but hasn't quite worked out. But fair play to him. He's worked hard and has got back into the sport in the UK after regaining his race fitness out on the continent, riding in Poland in particular. Second set of tapes will be fitted up now. Peter Schroep just looking on. Just a slight delay, but looking like it's going to be a victory for the Kings Lynn Stars here this evening, with 3 points required from this race, and they will hit the 45-point barrier, and that will be enough for them to win here away from home. Harris back on his bike, so's Killeen. No real damage done. And Rohan Tungate, looks like those tapes were a bit just twisted a touch.
Good to see Pete still smiling. Quite sure how he's managing it after the torrid season he's had.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. So Rohan Tungate just doing a bit of added gardening with this a little bit of extra time. I think we might have a round of applause once the tapes are finally in place.
At least Rohan doesn't have the clock to worry about this time.
So, yeah, I think we're just about there now with the... Oh, are we? Oh, no, not quite. No,
don't not. Break them now, Rohan.
Rohan Tungate actually testing out the new tapes just to see how flexible they are. Does look like they are actually hooked into place now. So we'll go through the lineup for you for heat number 12. So Cook on the inside, Rohan Tungate gate number 2, Chris Harris gate 3, and Killeen will go from the outside in heat number 12. Green light comes on, tapes are up, and we're charging towards the first turn. Cook does exactly the same as he did first time around. It's tight in the first corner between Harris and Rohan Tungate, but Harris, you cannot keep a good man down. Harris came roaring around the outside. Tungate's in trouble. He's got nowhere. He's selective reverse with Killeen out the back, but Cook and Harris leading the way, and this is going to tie it all up for the Kings Lynn Stars.
How many times have we seen Chris Harris dust himself down after a first turn crash and put everything on the line in the rerun around the outside, just lowered his elbows, got past Rohan Tungate, who had been as hard as he could on him. But there's no keeping a good man back. And Cook out front, Chris Harris chasing him down. Easy for this pairing.
Ben Cook actually is having a great night riding at number 6. He's going to pick up a victory here and is looking good. Chris Harris coming through in second place as well. Big 5-1. They've had plenty of them tonight, the Kings Lynn Stars. They win the evening. It's gone their way. Relatively comfortable victory, in truth, away from home. Rob Lyon clearly delighted with the way it's gone tonight. He'll be a touch frustrated as well, I suggest, because when you see the team performing as well as this away from home, you just fancy, we should have been in the top 4, we should have been in the playoffs in 2025. So Ben Cook, lovely ride from him, 3 points. He wins the race. 2 points for the hard charging Chris Harris. Brilliant move from him early on. Rohan Tungate back in 3rd place, 1 point for him, and Killeen misses out in heat number 12. We had a couple of goes at it, but finally it sees the Stars hit the front.
Well, as if to back up what Rob Lyon was saying, the big miss that Ben Cook was. He goes out, wins his second ride, but look at Chris Harris there. Rohan Tungate does everything he can to stop that run. He knows exactly where Chris Harris will be. If it had gone any further, it would have ended in tears, but he did all he could do. Ran across the corner there. He's gone as far as he can go. Unfortunately for him, Chris Harris has gone further. Great ride from him.
Yeah, terrific stuff. Bit of a moment for Rohan Tungate, bit greasy out there, but his race is run really effectively from that point on. So heat number 13. The result is done. It's the Kings Lynn Stars have the clean sweep against the Oxford Spires, but some big hitters out in heat number 13. Interesting race nonetheless. Will Nicolai Klindt manage to maintain his unbeaten record so far this evening? He's had 3 rides and 3 wins. He would dearly love to go through the card. A maximum is always something that riders will relish if they can.
Well, he's shone bright for the Stars, hasn't he, Kel?
He has. Hey, he's here all week, this man. Don't go anywhere.
Get one in.
So Jan Kvech, who started well, but then has had a couple of rides where he's picked up a couple of points, but it's been, well, a little uncomfortable. Line up for heat number 13. Charles Wright will start from the inside in the red helmet colour. Jan Kvech comes out at gate number 2 in white. Maciej Janowski dropped points last time, but he's here. Gate number 3 in blue. And Nicolai Klindt, the unbeaten man for the Kings Lynn Stars, will start from gate number 4 in yellow. The captains on gates 3 and 4. Rob Lyon will be pleased with the way it's gone tonight. And his team are certainly trying to finish the season off strongly. Nicolai Klindt, who has done a decent job for the Kings Lynn Stars as the captain. Actually joined the Spires, I think, at the beginning of last year, but then exited fairly quickly, if I remember, and went to Kings Lynn and then has stayed there. Clearly a disagreement, definitely, because it was so early in the season. But
yeah, he had a run of about 4 or 5 very poor meetings, scored one or 2 points in each of them. But you're right, it was quite an early change, so you have to wonder if there was a bit more to it than that.
Quite possibly, but he's turned up here and he's meant business and has ridden very well indeed. So which way is this going to go? Janowski, I'm sure, will want to try and get his nose in front. It's when TNT have been down, Janowski has actually been very good in the big races. He has won heats 13, 15 on a regular. Here we go then. We're racing, and off the inside, Charles Wright has made a smashing start. Best start of the night for Charles. Here comes Janowski. Can he get to the front? Yes, he does. He just about gets the better of Kvech as they roar down the back straight. Nicolai Klindt has been left at the back, but Charles Wright looking good in front. Kvech not too far away in 3rd place. Now they're changing position. Charles Wright on the inside, Janowski on the outside.
Yeah, Charles Wright's had a quiet night tonight. He's picked up 4 points ahead of this one, but looking good now. He's made a start out front. And Kvech not giving up. He's riding around the inside now. He's looking for a way. He's got half the bike up over the curve, but he wasn't able to make any ground up for Janowski. Nicolai Klindt now taking up the chase.
He has. Swapping places. Klindt just about in 3rd place, but this is a bit of a consolation. Charles Wright pulled the anchors on, and Janowski just about misses his back wheel. One last corner to finish heat number 13, and the Spires just give the home crowd a little bit of respite from the agony which they have been enduring, not just tonight but throughout the season. And Charles Wright made a good effort from the inside gate, and let's say Janowski picking up a 5-1. They're going to come round and just have a bit of a wave to the crowd. It was a bit of a moment that could have been quite dramatic if Janowski has clipped the back of Charles Wright late on in heat number 13, but the home crowd sticking with them. Fair play to them. They have showed a lot of loyalty to the team, and the home team pick up a 5-1 in heat number 13. Charles Wright is the winner, 3 points for him. Maciej Janowski back in 2nd place, 2 points. Nicolai Klindt dropped points for the first time this evening, 1 point in 3rd, and Kvech misses out in heat number 13. Bit of respite, bit of consolation for the home team here.
Yeah, heat 13, as you say, a little bit of consolation. 5 points for the Spires. Doesn't affect the meeting at all, but Janowski there heading straight for the dirt. Nicolai Klindt heading for the dirt. It's unfortunate for Nicolai. Had a great night with his 3 race wins before this one, but wasn't really able to make an impact. Got stuck behind Kvech for 3 laps. Had a decent go on the last lap, but Charles Wright round the inside, Janowski on the very outside there. Not sure if we're going to see that moment towards the end of the race, but Charles Wright just wondering where everybody is.
So heat 14, a couple of races to go tonight, 48 points to 30. Riders on their way. Victor Palovaara, well, it hasn't been his night. Coming in, and a sudden loss of form for Victor, which is a shame. He'll be hoping to pick up some points here. Hasn't had a great evening. What did he pick up last time? Victor Palovaara.
Don't think he's scored any points tonight. So
no, I think you're right. He's and it's never good to go home having not scored. So heat 14, Victor Palovaara will be very keen to get amongst the points, but he's got gate 4, which is not ideal at this late point of the evening. So the lineup for heat number 14. Richard Lawson on the inside with the white helmet colour on. Gate number 2 in blue is Peter Kildemand. Luke Harrison, gate 3 in yellow, and Victor Palovaara. And he goes from the outside in the red helmet colour. He's had 3 rides tonight, but hasn't scored. Peter Schroek. Well, in some ways, I think Peter will be quite relieved when the racing is completed this season, particularly at Premiership level. They run a team in the Championship. They've been more successful at that level than they have been at Premiership. There you can see riders just preparing themselves. Track is very slick at this late stage of the evening. Not much dirt out there. You have to make that choice. King's Lynn Stars are chuffed to bits, rightly so. Good effort this late stage of the season. They've got 20-odd seconds to go before riders have to be at tapes, ready to go. Luke Harrison's ready. Here we go. Riders coming forward now with just 10 seconds left on the clock. Looking at Lawson on the inside. Here we go then. Heat number 14. Penultimate race of the evening. Takes her up. What a start. Tell you what, he dropped the clutch bang on there, Killeen. Absolutely roared into the first corner. Or was it Peter Kildemand? It was Kildemand, wasn't it? Kildemand, yeah. Peter Kildemand, excuse me. But he's unfortunately just got relegated to 3rd place. Although Kildemand rubbing the air fence. Oh my goodness gracious me, that was untidy and uncomfortable. Harrison did well to stay on. But Lawson's away. And I must say there were some fireworks there for a moment.
Yeah, unfortunate for Victor Palovaara. Had to put the brakes on when he saw Luke Harrison in all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
But another decent ride from young Luke. He done a decent first corner, first lap. Peter Kildemand now settles down 2nd place. Richard Lawson's gone away. Richard's, what's he scored? 5, 6, 7 points and a bonus. His opening 3 rides.
He's had a good night. He's going to finish off with a double-figure score, and he'll be chuffed to bits with that. Lawson going great guns out in front. Peter Kildemand, brave as a lion actually early on in this race, has come through into 2nd place. Luke Harrison does well to stay on, but Lawson finishes nicely. He'll be pleased with his efforts so far this evening. Another advantage to the King's Lynn Stars. It's going all their way tonight, and Victor Palovaara, a night to forget for the Swedish rider who failed to score once again in Heat 14. Richard Lawson is doing his customary solid work here tonight. Lawson 3 points in front. Peter Kildemand, spectacular at times. Peter Kildemand 2nd place, 2 points, 1 point for Luke Harrison, who was very spectacular at one moment in Heat number 14, and Victor Palovaara misses out in Heat number 14. Hopefully we'll see that again. He did well to stay on, Harrison. Don't know too much about him, but I'll tell you what, he knows how to survive out in Heat 14.
Yeah, it certainly does. Richard Lawson makes a good start, elects to go round the inside, moves across as he gets onto the straight, just in case Kildamand's making a good run. Kildemand now making his way right around the dirt. Luke Harrison doesn't leave him much room there. He's reaching for the stars there, isn't he? But he does well, stays on, and grabs a point.
He does.
Palovaara here has to turn the bike hard, almost goes across the centre green as Luke Harrison was all out of shape.
So he does very well to stay on. I think there's a bit of good fortune. I think there's a bit more than that. I think there's a lot of good fortune in that.
May have felt like a passenger there.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't fully in control, but Richard Lawson was, as he has a long look over his left shoulder as he comes to the checkered flag. So Heat 14, 1 race to go. We'll make our way back down to the pit area with Abby.
Calv and Chris, thank you. Well, 20 points separating these two teams. King's Lynn Stars is a question of what could have been. They've been on fire tonight. We still have the big Heat 15 to come, and the hashtag. I need to prompt you to get your questions in for Scotty. It is Oxcly. See you after this.
We're into the closing stages of the final meeting at Palovaara, Birmingham against Leicester. Leicester have got the points in the bag. Birmingham trying to fight on with a tactical sub-ride for Tobias Mijenak in blue in Heat 12, but he has been squeezed out on the back straight by a combination of Drew Kemp and Ryan Douglas after some fairly heavy track watering during the interval. Mijenak unable to make any impression. His teammate Keenan Roux with the advantage, which gives the Brummies some relief because we've seen a run of Leicester advantages, but Keenan Roux taking the win here in Heat 12 over the the Lions combination, but with Tobias Mijelak there failing to score on the tax-up ride, the gap still remains at 22 points. Heat 13 then, and a contested first bend involving Max Frick and Tobias Mijelak, and trying to join in Sam Masters in yellow, but Frick pulls clear up the back straight, and they battle into the third bend with Masters trying to move inside Mijelak, and Mijelak trying to get back round him. Still Max Frick with the advantage, and still neck and neck for second and third. We have seen some good stuff here at Palovaara on their final night, but Tobias Mijelak is so wide on turn 2, and we've seen throughout the season, if you go wide out there's very little for you to get back round the outside, and Tobias Mijelak there almost in reverse on the second bend as Leicester get into a 5-1 situation with Max Frick and Sam Masters. Third place doing the chasing is Maciej, but Leicester once again showing just how well they ride this track, and their record round here speaks for itself. Max Frick has the advantage, second place is Sam Masters, third is Maciej. They're very tougher tests for Leicester to come in the chase for the playoffs this season, in the playoffs to come, but they're certainly going about things the right way at the end of their regular league campaign with 2 matches to go for them after this. Max Frick winning Heat 13 from Sam Masters for a 5-1. Heat 14 gets underway with Paco Castaño in red making a flying start for Birmingham. It's going to be tight on the second bend as Simon Lambert goes through into second place, and Joe Thompson trying to come through as well. Howard flinging it into the bends 3 and 4, trying to make a move around the outside, took himself too wide. Lambert comes in to go second, and Joe Thompson goes from 4th to 2nd, all going off in Heat 14, and Kyle Howard trying to bounce back now on Simon Lambert, and he's done so. Well, that was spectacular stuff on the first couple of laps, but out in front is Paco Castaño, and it looks like we are going to see a Birmingham race winner towards the end of the meeting. Some relief for their supporters who have backed the club throughout some troubled times, particularly in the last couple of seasons in the top league. It will be an emphatic away victory for the Leicester Lions, but after an absolutely frantic Heat 14 in the first couple of laps, Paco Castaño at least giving Birmingham something to shout about towards the end of the meeting. Leicester with a point absolutely wrapped up here at Palovaara, but a race winner for the home side in Heat 14. Current score, 1 to go, Birmingham 29, Leicester 55.
Welcome back to Oxford Stadium. We've got 1 heat remaining, 32-52. The Spires haven't quite put in the performance that these fans that have come out on bank holiday wanted to see, but the big Heat 15 hopefully will put on a display. At Palovaara, the fans there have going to be a very emotional evening for them. It is the last home meeting in Birmingham. Let's head to Dave Rowe now.
Well, the meeting long since in the bag for the Leicester Lions here, but we have seen a couple of Birmingham race wins, and in Heat 14 with the score at 52-26 in favour of the Lions. It was a good start by Paco Castaño. Watch out for Carl Howard here in white on the 3rd and 4th bend, getting it all wrong as he tried to make his way through. Simon Lambert briefly going through, Joe Thompson going from 4th to 2nd, and then finally Carl Howard coming back in on Simon Lambert. But Paco Castaño out in front for a race win for the Birmingham Brummies, and he addressed the crowd during the interval as well. Quite emotional about the final night, of course. Castaño's ridden for the club in both the Championship and the Premiership as their time in the sport, at least at this venue, comes to an end. Leicester kicking on towards the playoffs in great form, as we've seen throughout the summer, but Castaño giving Birmingham a race victory in Heat 14, and they've only got 1 race to go in the meeting. 14 heats gone here at Palovaara, and Leicester set for a massive away win. It's Birmingham 29, Leicester 55.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, an emotional night at Birmingham and borderline emotional night here, Pete. I know you're an optimistic man. Spin a positive for me.
I'm trying to find it right this minute.
You've got a gate choice.
We have got a gate choice. Yeah, that's one of the things. And listen, we got beaten by the better team tonight. There's some great racing. The only sort of good thing is Kings Lynn ain't in the playoffs either. So that's probably what I'm going to take home. But it
is tough when it's been a tough season, and when you know that you're out of the playoffs, there's not a lot to fight for. It can be hard to motivate the boys.
Oh, very hard. It's we come here with the right intentions, but obviously 1 or 2 things go wrong, and then suddenly, the rips are coming back into it. And listen, we tried hard. It's one of those years. Sometimes you get tested, and I think this year has been our test. we've only been back 4 years, so let's not dwell on it too much. We're working on next year. Hopefully, whatever's going to happen with the leagues and one thing we're going to know soon, and then we can rebuild, and that's all we can do. We can't just throw the towel in and say, well, that's it. We're never going to do it again. Unfortunately, in racing, somebody has to come last. This year, it's us. Well,
there you go. You spun a positive. You spun. Anyway, you have got gate choice, Pete. What gates and what riders, please?
Well, we had a great race in that last one, so Charles is going off gate 1 and Maciej is going off gate 3.
Okay, mate. Thanks, Peter. Pete was quick to chuck in there that you guys can't make the playoffs, but it must be frustrating. How frustrating is it for you when you put in a performance like the boys have tonight? It must be a pretty bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's Speedway, and we all know injuries come into it, and I don't want to keep harping on about it really, but the Ben Cook injury was pretty damaging for us, and he was out for a long time, but he's back now, and you can see that team is solid with him in it, and we're producing some good results. So.
And it's a good sign for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, great performance tonight again. This is a happy hunting ground for us. We're not in the playoffs, as Pete rightly said, but yeah.
It's also a milk table for 2.
Yeah, but it's been a good performance, and fair play to the boys for that.
Okay, and you have gates 2 and 4. What rides are you going with, please?
Richard Lawson in white off gate 2, Niels-Kristian Iversen in yellow off gate 4. Just want to say, if Annette, you're watching, you could have stayed. Private joke.
You could have, but too late. Anyway, it's back to Abby before you're 15.
Scotty, thank you so much. So join us on Saturday. It's the penultimate round of the Speedway Grand Prix season. Only 3 points separate defending champion Bartosz Marzyk going for his 6th world title, and Brady Kurtz looking for his first in his rookie season, no less. We're underway from 5:30 on TNT Sports 2 and Discovery Plus. And let's get underway now with Heat 15, shall we? Head back to Chris and to Cal.
Yes, thanks very much, Abby. Yeah, it hasn't been the night the home team have wanted, but I think it must have gone through Rob Lyon's mind that when Peter Stroke was saying to him, well, they're not in the playoffs either, but he could have said, well, we've beaten you 6 times this year.
Sure, that
might have been a bit harsh, but nonetheless, that is a fact. And as Peter was explaining, they will just have to put this year behind them and look what they have to work to for 2026, and hopefully we will see them back. Final race of the evening. Just quickly looking forward to the weekend in Wrocław, round number 9 of the World Speedway Championship. 3 points between the top 2 in the world, with Kurtz winning the last 3 Grand Prix. It really is a titanic battle. Very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I hope that the lead either way is no bigger than that as we head to Voyens for the final round. That would be a fantastic night, wouldn't it?
Indeed it would. Heat number 15, 20 points between the 2 teams. Kingston Stars have been coming out on top, but Heat 15 is a tasty lineup, and we'll be hoping that we will finish with a bit of a bang here tonight. Lawson's had a good night, Richard Lawson. No wonder he's out in heat number 15. So Charles Wright will start on the inside in the red helmet colour. Won his last race from there. He'll be hoping to do the same here in heat number 15. Gate number 2 in white is Richard Lawson. Maciej Janowski coming out of gate 3 in blue. And Niels-Kristian Iversen will start from the outside gate in yellow. Nicolai Klindt could have been chosen, but has elected not to go. Ben Cook would have been another option for Rob Lyon for heat number 15, but Niels-Kristian Iversen is the man. Can he do it again? He made a really good fist of it in heat number 8 from the outside. Can he do it in heat 15?
Yeah, he's won his last 2 heats. He got a paid win in his first one as well. It was just that second ride didn't go so well for him. Heat number 5, ran a last place there, but no, Lawson's been impeccable tonight, hasn't he? He's just dropped that 1 point so far.
No, he's been terrific. He won heat 14, so second consecutive ride, but there has been a bit of a gap with for Richard to just get himself ready. Maciej Janowski working hard on gate 3. He'll want to try and finish with a win here. He's just had 1 blip tonight, Maciej. He's apart from that, he's had 5 rides this evening. Hasn't done too badly, really. He's got 8, 10, paid 11 so far. Heat number 15. Last race of the night, and the Oxford pairing made an absolute fabulous start. Charles Wright is there. Janowski's got beaten up in the first corner. Oh my goodness, and he's got beaten up again down the back straight, and it was very tight indeed. Coming through into second place is Richard Lawson, but Charles Wright off the inside gate makes a lovely start, hugging the inside. Richard Lawson pushing on in second place, Iversen hanging on in third.
Charles Wright's going to finish tonight with a flourish of 2 race wins. Looking good out front. He's riding around the inside on turns 1 and 2 and the outside of turns 3 and 4, so obviously feels the dirt line's a little bit working a little bit better out there, but Richard Lawson's going to complete a decent night for him, dropped just a couple of points.
Janowski trying to get the better of Iversen, but Iversen has got eyes in the back of his head, can't quite get the better of him. Charles Wright with the one last blast through the final corner for the final time here tonight. And Charles Wright, as you say, has won his last couple of rides. Good ride from Lawson back in second place. It's a shared race with, unfortunately, Janowski, who made a really good start initially, but then got hustled out of it early on. But a nice way for Charles Wright to complete the night. It was a slow start to the evening, but he's picked up 8 points, actually, from his last 3 rides. So a decent end to the evening for Charles Wright. While we've got a moment, your cabin master rider of the night, Chris.
Yeah, my cabin master rider of the night, I think, is going to go to Richard Lawson. He's in the engine room of the side, number 4, and he's done a really solid job tonight.
Indeed he has. So Charles Wright wins the race. Heat 15 is his, 3 points for him. Richard Lawson, the cabin master rider of the night, coming through in second place, 2 points for him. Niels-Kristian Iversen in third, 1 point. Maciej Janowski unfortunately missing out in Heat 15, the last race of the evening. Final score, 55 points to the Stars, 35 points to the Oxford Spires. So a convincing victory by 20 points. Here we see it again.
Yeah, Charles Wright coming off gate number 1, just puts the front wheel right down on the curb. I think he might be expecting to see his team partner down the back straight, but Lawson up the inside. Iversen quite firm there on Janowski as they head into turn 3. Keeps the throttle on, gets himself into third place to share the heat. But great end to the night for Charles Wright. Finishes with 2 race wins, 10 points.
Cool, that was
after
tight,
a difficult start, but that was tight.
Yeah, that was, you had to breathe in for a moment, and Janowski came out second best, but this man, Charles Wright, finishes his evening off with a, as you say, a flurry, and 8 points from his last 3 rides. There's Richard Lawson, and he's our cabin master man. He's the rider of the night, and Richard has done what he does on a regular basis. He has done a terrific job for his team. So there we are, and let's make our way down to Abby in the pit area.
Thank you. I'm just watching Rob Line congratulate a lot of the Stars riders, and good sportsmanship, just having a chat with Peter Schroek. Not taking offence from Peter saying, well, you guys didn't make the playoffs either. Now, I've got to encourage you. You're a bit short on the questions tonight, and I want to get them to Scotty. So that hashtag is OxCly, and when we come back from this break, I will ask Scotty your questions, and we'll hopefully be speaking to some of the riders. See you in a moment.
This is the final race at Palovaara, Heat 15, and a flying start from Sam Masters in white ahead of Keen and Rowe. Turning back in blue is Paco Castagna. Contact between Douglas and Rowe off the second bend. The race continues. Well, that was a real mess off turn 2, but the race is carrying on with Sam Masters out in front. Castagna in second place, Rowe in third, and Douglas certainly affected there by that contact on the second bend. He's out the back, but Sam Masters, away from that carnage in the early stages, is leading what is the last ever Speedway race around the Palovaara Paribaar Stadium with Paco Castagna in second place and Keenan Roux in third. It's a Leicester victory on the night by a massive margin. We already knew that, but it looks like it's going to be one of their riders taking victory in the final race as well. It was certainly not the cleanest of starts, it must be said, with 3 riders almost falling over each other on turn 2. Sam Masters with time to look back over his shoulder, knows he's well in control. Castagna in second place, Roux in third, and Masters wheeling up the back straight for the final time. It's going to be a 26-point victory for the Leicester Lions, and Sam Masters is the final race winner at Paribaar. Second place, Paco Castagna. Third place is Keenan Roux, rolling across the finish line. Ryan Douglas, a retirement from the race, and the curtain comes down on track racing at Paribaar, which first stage speedway, this stadium in this format back in 2007. They have had a checkered history over the time, some real success and some high spots and some low spots. Paco Castagna, the rider in blue, a big hero amongst the crowd, a real popular figure, and he's taking the applause along with Sam Masters. It's a sad night in many ways, in very many ways indeed, for Speedway in general, and in Midland Speedway have lost so many tracks over recent years. And Paribaar, the Greyhounds have moved over to Wolverhampton, and the stadium itself is going to close now after tonight's event as the riders go round on their final lap. Paco Castagna entertaining the crowd after his second place there, and his performance scoring 8+1 this evening, with Keenan Roux scoring 8+2. It's a win for the Leicester Lions, who are charging their way towards the playoffs. They're certainly there. They're trying to finish in the top 2 in the league table. They've got the reverse fixture against Birmingham at home on Thursday. They've got to go to Oxford as well. So Leicester are in really good shape, with Luke Becker back in the scoring with 8 paid 9 tonight from 4 rides. Double figures from their strong top 3 of Masters, Douglas and Frick. So Stuart Dixon and his riders very happy with their performance as they acclaim with the fans. But Nigel Tolley has kept Birmingham running for the last 4 years. An emotional moment for the Birmingham promoter, and we wonder what the future holds for him in years to come. But it's the curtain coming down on Paribaar with a final score of Birmingham 32, Leicester 58.
So Chris, let's have a quick chat with Chris.
With the television company in. Welcome back to Oxford Stadium. Well, the stars have shone brightly for the Stars tonight. 20 points separating the 2 teams. Stars have had a clean sweep against the Spires this season. That was their 6th meeting win. Let's head to Paribaar. I'm imagining this is going to be a very emotional moment. Dave Rowe?
This is the final race at Paribaar. It's Sam Masters in white making the start, but it's a bit of a mess on the first 2 turns, in all honesty. The other 3 almost collide. Ryan Douglas with contact with Keenan Roux after a strong move by Paco Castagna. The race continued, and Sam Masters moved clear for the Leicester Lions, with Douglas out of contention, Castagna and Roux holding 2nd and 3rd. So Sam Masters taking the flag for the final time at Paribaar in Heat 15. The Leicester man in control of the race over Castagna and Roux, and setting up a 26-point victory, confirming a 58-32 win for the Leicester Lions as they head towards the playoffs in great form. Masters taking the flag over Castagna, with Roux in 3rd place as the curtain comes down on Paribaar, which first staged the sport back in 2007. Emotional times. The promoter, Nigel Tolley's been in charge for the last 4 years or so, and as I say, a sad evening here at Paribaar. A big win for the Leicester Lions and Birmingham's final home meeting. Final score, Birmingham 32, Leicester 58.
Thank you, David. Yeah, an emotional night there at Birmingham. Not an emotional night, a good night for you guys. Richard, you got the Cabin Master rider tonight. CEO Phil Morris, a little bit busy at the minute, so you'll get your lovely trophy in a second. But yeah, come on then, Phil, you're ready now.
How you go, mate? Good job. Well done on that, and a bottle of champers for you. Lovely.
Yeah, Richard, a solid team performance all throughout. I mean, it was obviously hard for Rob to pick who he's going to put in Heat 15, but great night for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Enjoy it around here, and you know, I think since Ben come back into the team, we've had a full 1 to 7, and that's made a huge difference. And you know, just in the pits alone. But no, really good night.
I'm glad you said that, and I don't know if you can explain it, but what that can do for a team when you just get that one person back, and it kind of it's like the glue that binds you all together, I guess.
Yeah, in the past, I honestly haven't been like a firm believer of it. I'm thinking, oh yeah, we get a good guest, and it is what it is. But you know, there is something about having your own team, and we have gelled this last half a dozen meetings. We've apart from an away match at Ipswich, we've been really, really strong.
It is, and I think it's that communication, that chemistry within the pitch can be that extra rider, I guess.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to be said for having a good bunch of guys in the pits. It really helps even on the track.
Well, at show tonight, well done, mate. Thanks for chatting to us. Abby, back to you.
Scotty, thank you. We're joined by Ben. Ben, so many people speak in your praises tonight. Rob Lyons saying, you know, almost a case of what could have been had you not had that accident at the time you had it. Richard Lawson there just saying having you back in the team has made the difference as well.
Yeah, it's been good to be back. It's been a strange old season for me this year, but yeah, starting to feel a bit more comfortable on the bike again and having some fun, but that season's coming to an end, which is a shame. But like you said, could have been a good year with the boys, but unfortunately the injury gremlin struck again. But yeah, I mean, that's Speedway sometimes.
Yeah, it's a tough sport for it. And how do you keep motivated during those moments, Ben?
I was pretty busy with this injury, doing a lot of rehab and physio, and it was its own job itself, to be honest. But yeah, it's nice to be back and riding, and yeah, like I said, it's just been a tough old year, but it's good to be back.
Well, it's good to have you back. Thank you for chatting. Let's hear from Charles Wright now. He's with Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Abby just said there, Speedway can be a tough sport. It's certainly proved that way for Oxford this year, but you rounded out tonight personally very well.
Yeah, personally, it was a good performance by the end. I had a few issues with me clutch dragging me early on, and after 13, something felt loose on my bike and my actual frame bolt, engine bolt snapped. So I was dragging through the tapes most of the night. As soon as I put a new bolt in, it didn't drag, and then made 2 good starts off the inside gate. But no, I was happy with that. It's just a shame. It was another loss for our team.
And on paper, you've got a good team, and kind of you feel that sometimes that's just how it goes when it's, you know, the negative energy just kind of spreads through the team, and it's hard to, you know, in fighting your own battles, it's hard to gel as a unit.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, we're missing Eric, and then, yeah, it's just not been a good year all over, and it's very hard to pick yourself up and get motivated. And, you know, when you're losing all the time, you know, as a rider and as a team, when you're in a winning team, everything's good. You get that extra 10%, but, you know, it has been a hard year, but we've got one more meeting, and hopefully we can come away with one win. Yeah.
Hopefully you get a win against someone else other than Birmingham. But interestingly, Richard Lawson was saying about bringing Ben back in and the kind of the chemistry and camaraderie within the team, and you've just said yourself there that the chop and change all the time, it really unsettles the whole kind of communication.
Yeah, it's been hard because personally myself, I've been brought in as a third heat leader, and then I've ended up number 1 with, you know, just sort of doing my job, and it's been hard for myself. You know, it's hard from going from a middle rider and then you're chucked in at the deep end, but, you know, I just sort of got used to dealing with it now. So, it's been a hard year.
It has been hard, but sink or swim, you swam in the end, mate. Thanks for chatting. Abby, back to you.
Scotty, thank you. Let's have a look at how the Premiership standings look after tonight's meetings. So Ipswich Richards obviously remain at the top, 43 points. Sheffield Tigers second with 38. Bellevue Aces third with 37. Leicester Lions fourth with 36. And it's Kings Lynn Stars who now move to 24 points. Oxford Spires with 11, and Birmingham Brummies with their last home meeting at Palovaara this evening with 6 points. There's so much two-wheeled action coming up on TNT Sports, so Tom Picott stars as La Vuelta continues tomorrow, stage 4 of the race. Then the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series resumes in France with a weekend full of exhilarating racing. The Speedway Grand Prix is in Wroclaw. The penultimate round of the season, just 3 points separating Schmarzlik and Kurtz. And we're not far away from the British Speedway playoffs, which gets underway Monday, the 8th of September. I'm multitasking, Mr. Nichols. I'm getting my questions up for you. But very sad moments and scenes in Palovaara with the curtain closing down on that stadium. Scotty, what do you say? Look.
it's for everybody involved. You've seen, the riders there going to the fans, and obviously, Mr. Tolley with the hat on there. I mean, he's kind of done his best to bring Birmingham back, and it's just a shame to lose, any club in the sport. We desperately need more tracks coming through. So, it's a bitter blow to the sport.
So my encouragement, people have now put your questions in, so some of these may have to roll over to playoffs. So from Jamie Glasheen, I hope I'm pronouncing names right. Scotty, are you going to be suited up for 2026?
I certainly plan to. Don't know what suit I'll be in, but I'll give it a go.
David Giles, how long does an engine of a speedway bike typically last before rebuild is needed due to wear?
General service, most boys will do kind of 6 to 8 meetings, and then you have to have a bigger service every other. So for just a simple service, sort of 6 to 8 meetings.
Big question with just a few minutes on air remaining. So this is from Davey. With Perry Bar closing, top tier of British Speedway going back to 6 teams, is it feasible that we go to 1 league in the next few years? What's your opinion?
Real tricky. It's a tricky one. I mean, there's definitely forwards and against. I think 1 league, yes, could be great. More teams, more clubs, and more coverage up and down the sport. But obviously, if you went to 1 league, I think it's safe to say you'd lose a lot of the top riders because of the commitment with the different race nights. A lot of the championship clubs are established on a Friday or a Saturday. For them to move to a midweek would be hugely detrimental to their gate. So it becomes a real kind of quandary. It's not a simple, straightforward answer. And like you say, with the clubs like Birmingham and place like that closing, it makes it very, very difficult. It's
useful to know that sort of behind the scenes information though, because people are just saying, why don't you just make 1 big lead? It's not as easy as that, is it?
It's not, and I'm a fan of it in a lot of respects, but if I was a Grand Prix rider at that level, the structure of knowing that I only race in the UK on a Monday or a Thursday, but obviously now with Poland being a lot more busier than it was, and there's restricted flights to race at Berwick on a Saturday, Poland Sunday, and Plymouth Saturday, but it makes it very, very difficult, and I know the top riders, that wouldn't appeal to them.
Tricky decision. Well,
we did it.
You got the answer out, and it was a comprehensive one, and we go into the playoffs in a few weeks' time.
I can't wait. I mean, it was the 4 we kind of earmarked. I mean, Killeen put in a threat, but sadly for them, they didn't quite make it. Can't wait. Who's it going to be? Ipswich. Ooh.
Ipswich.
Well, are they going to? Well, they don't have a choice. It's whoever's 4th, so we'll find out soon enough.
But Leicester Lions do look like they've hit the form right.
They're on, and Luke Becker's just come in and he's looking on form, so let's see.
We can't wait. So make sure you join us in a few weeks' time. But here at Oxford, it was written in the stars. Well done to Kingsland Stars. See you in a couple of weeks.